Hello, Scream Demons, and welcome to the Screams from the Basement podcast.
This is the best horror podcast on this side of the Black Lagoon. Screams from the Basement discusses the best double features the genre has to offer.
We also interview the industry's finest that make our screams become nightmares. I am one of your creepy co-hosts. I am Casey.
And I'm Sam the Damned, and let's get screaming.
Let's
Casey?
get screaming. Sam, we are here. We're back with a brand new episode. First episode back since our own horror convention.
Yeah,
Screams
that is
by
true.
Night. We took a much needed week off last week.
Yep.
First time we haven't had an episode on a Friday in probably 2 years.
At least, yeah. At
Yeah.
least.
So probably 2 years of us going nonstop. We needed last week off. We needed a break, and now we're back. Sam, what are we back with?
We're back with, one of the things that I feel like we don't do on this show as much is I was looking at 2000s horror, and this month we're really remedying that because we don't have a lot of aughts horror on this podcast. We covered Cabin Fever, we covered Trick or Treat, but beyond that, I feel like it's been pretty sparse. Bubba Hotep, I suppose. So I picked this double feature.
Darkness Falls.
That's true. Darkness Falls.
We've covered quite a bit.
Few. Okay,
a decent amount of 2000s
But the one
horror.
thing we really haven't hit in the 2000s is the remake, the slasher remake craze of that era. And I hate most of those movies. And these were two that I remember not hating. So we are doing what I did at one point consider two underrated and underseen slashers from this era. The Prom Night remake starring Brittany Snow from 2008, and Sorority Row, the remake of The House on Sorority Row. It's actually based on a whole different movie anyways. Sorority Row from 2009. Yeah. These were both first-time watches for you, Casey. Is that correct?
I think the thing we don't maybe do enough is have blind picks for one another.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we're pretty copacetic in getting...
yeah, if we've both seen
at least one of the movies we both have seen when we do our double features. Yeah, these are both first-time watches for me. And what did you say? These are two of the most...
underseen and underrated. That still stands for one of them. The other one, I retract that statement already.
Okay. Well, we will agree at least 50% of this episode, Sam.
Yes. Full disclosure, Casey and I have actually texted a lot in the lead up to this. Mostly because I feel like both of these movies are movies that I have tried to get you to watch before, particularly Sorority Row. This has been a long time coming. I guess spoiler alert, I love Sorority Row. That's a once every 12 months watch for me. I'm gonna watch Sorority Row at least once a year anyways. We might as well do a podcast episode on it. And Prom Night, I had only watched once in adulthood, and I was pretty inebriated for it. Check out our Patreon for more on that. But yeah, I don't know, Casey. I mean, I suppose we can just get into it, right?
We can get into it. I'm going to say this because we were talking beforehand. We were texting while talking about both of these movies a little bit. And I sent you something right after watching Sorority Row.
Yeah.
And it is the gif from Revenge of the Sith where Anakin is yelling at Obi-Wan, "I hate you!"
While he's on fire.
Well, he's on fire. That's how I felt watching this movie. Sam had the high ground on this episode, that's for sure. And there I was laying, burning alive with my limbs cut off. Well, my best friend betrayed me. That's how I felt. That's how I felt.
To be fair, I apologized before you watched Prom Night. Because I watched Prom Night before you. I watched both of these movies before you. I was excited to watch both of these. I think we just watched a different movie from each other on Sorority Row. We'll get into that.
No, we watched the same movie.
No,
we watched the same movie.
We watched a different movie.
Our experiences were very different watching the same movie. But let's jump into Prom Night first from
Yeah,
2008. This is smack dab in the middle of those aughts slasher remakes that we got. Let's talk about a few of them because like it was really in '03 that this started. Texas Chainsaw Massacre came out, was a big hit. Then you had Black Christmas, which is kind of crazy that was one of the early ones. Of course,
yeah,
Halloween got a big remake in 2007 from Rob Zombie. Eventually, both Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th also got remakes. My Bloody Valentine. Both of these, Prom Night and Sorority Row. What else am I missing that got a remake?
The Stepfather
The Stepfather from the same team who made
from the same
Prom
team
Night.
that made Prom Night. I'm gonna go out on a limb. That is also one I have not watched since high school, but I think that one is probably better than Prom Night, from what I remember of it. Have you seen that one?
I have not. I have not seen The Stepfather. No.
Have you seen the original?
No, I have not.
We should do
Stepfather double feature
we should do a Stepfather double feature
in a
because,
year because I need a break from this.
yeah. No, the original Stepfather really like disarmingly funny. Like it's the third act is actually like a comedy, it feels like. It's pretty great. I love the 80s Stepfather. The '09 one I remember liking, but that was back when I liked just about everything. A la Prom Night.
Prom Night, yeah. See, I'm okay. So I watched a lot of those in like middle school, high school, because I remember watching Black Xmas. I remember watching When a Stranger Calls. I remember that
Yes.
was a big one around that
That
time.
one fucking holds up too. Like,
I don't
I
think I don't think it does.
oh, I do. I love the When a Stranger Calls remake. I will
But
go to
it has
bat for that
it
movie.
has that nostalgia that I don't
Yeah.
have for both of these movies, and I think that goes into your enjoying more both of these more than I did. That's
Yeah.
for sure. Having that nostalgia
Yeah.
factor. There's one aughts remake, Black Christmas, that I know I enjoy immensely more than you do because of that
Yeah.
nostalgia factor. But
Yep.
Prom Night, 2008, directed by Nelson McCormick, written by J.S. Cardone. Obviously, a remake of the original 1980?
Yeah,
Prom Night,
1980 was the
starring Jamie
original
Lee
one.
Curtis and
Also,
Leslie Nielsen. Correct?
yeah, I believe so. I believe so. Also, let's get this out of the way. Despite boasting those two in that movie, the 1980 Prom Night
Not a good
is
movie.
ass.
Not a
It's
good
really
movie.
bad. It's really bad. And I love 80s slashers. I love cheesy 80s slashers. Like that one does not hit for me. I do not like that one. I shouldn't call it ass. I'm sorry. I'm feeling bitchy today. So it's
It's because you
fitting
watched
for the
Sorority Row.
movies. It's because I watched Sorority Row. I'm
Yeah.
channeling my inner Leah Pipes.
Yeah. No, it's not. It's not very good. I've seen it one time. It is a boring slasher movie.
Yeah.
I will say this: neither of these movies are boring.
Yeah.
I'll
agree
give
with
them both that.
Yeah.
They're not boring. But yeah, that first one is not very good. That
Yeah.
being said, this is a very, very, very loose remake in that it
Yeah.
has the same title and takes place at a prom. That is it. That's the
Yep.
only correlation these two movies have.
Yeah.
So, setting up the plot of Prom Night 2008, on the eve of her senior prom, which for them feels like senior graduation, feels like the end of the world for them, Donna, Brittany Snow, fears that her homicidal high school teacher who killed her family 3 years ago will return, and lo and behold, he does, because it's a slasher movie,
Yeah.
at the senior prom, at a hotel where none of his students or his coworkers remember him in his shitty disguise. Prom
He
Night,
doesn't even have
2008.
disguise. Yeah.
He shaves his beard.
So this movie, this is a PG-13 slasher, which is how I was able to rent it.
Yeah.
Because like my library would not carry rated R movies. I had my selection of PG-13 movies, and this was one of them. And so I watched this one a lot because it was one of the only horror movies available to me at a certain age. And so to me, this was one of my first slashers. I was like, this is great. This is what a slasher is, you know? And I mean, On paper, yes, this is what a slasher is. I just know now that there's so much better. Um, that said, this isn't the worst one I've seen ever.
Yeah, no, it's not the worst one. It has that reputation of being the PG-13 slasher movie,
Yeah, because there
which has
weren't a
kind of
lot
become
of.
become the legacy of this movie, is that it's the PG-13 slasher movie.
Yeah, because it wasn't really like a PG-13 genre, even in the aughts. Like, there weren't a ton of PG-13 slashers,
I don't think there's
anyways.
any.
Yeah, like,
Like
this
all of the
is.
ones we mentioned are all R-rated.
Yeah, yeah, it's very rare. Like,
Maybe
the
is
final girls is PG-13, but that
is
one,
When a Stranger Calls?
When a Stranger Calls, is PG-13.
I don't know
But
if I'd consider that a slasher
that's more
though
of a
either. I
home
don't know.
invasion,
Yeah.
yeah. Like, so I feel like this is definitely kind of on its own a little bit. And so, but yeah, it was one of my first slashers. It wasn't my first, but it was one of my first. And so I
This
had
is
a lot
one
of attachment to this.
Yeah, this is one I know I didn't watch in middle school, high school, but I remember this movie around that time. Like
Yeah.
I feel it was a pretty big movie, especially on TV around
Yeah.
that time.
Well,
Like
and it
on like
also,
maybe like FX or maybe MTV would play it every once in a while. Something
oh yeah,
like
this was a total MTV type of movie.
yeah,
And it also has, Brittany Snow in it, who at the time was like a big, like at least a teen
just
star,
about to become a really big deal too. Like with the Pitch
Right,
Perfect movies coming out, what, three
right.
years later?
Yeah, like, yeah, exactly, exactly. And so, like, but a lot of us had grown up on her. Like, I mean, I remember seeing her in, like, The Pacifier with Vin Diesel
That's
and things
right.
like
Yeah.
that. So, like, to me, like, it was like, oh, Brittany Snow is in this horror movie. Like, I want to see this. Um, watching it as an adult. So, I I watched this 8 years ago with a pack of Lion's Paw and maybe a bottle of wine.
Shout out
Used to
Fernson.
be, yeah. Shout out to Ferguson.
Ferns and Lion's Paw makes Prom Night 2008 better.
Makes movies better. Yeah. No, I remember watching this pretty intoxicated. I was home alone over like the holidays, and I picked this up for like $6 at Last Stop because I'm like, I remember this movie. Um, I drunk tweeted the whole thing. Sorry, my Twitter is away. You can't find those tweets anymore. But
Someone
Jonathan,
dig these up from like December,
it was
what,
like
2017,
2018. I think it was
2018?
2018. Yeah. Oh, so 7 years ago. Jonathan Sheck.
Yeah,
Sheck. Yeah, Jonathan
Shaq. Yep.
Sheck. Um,
Who's the killer?
who's the killer? Found my tweets like while I was live tweeting it and started like tweeting me back. And like we had a full conversation about this movie. He's a very nice person. Um, one of my like I think he ended up following me after that.
We
And
should get him on the show.
we should. um, so yeah, I finished the movie and then I fired off a really like I mean it was like a 2 a.m. drunk beer fueled review of this movie that was very positive. Not very, but pretty positive.
You were like on the Rotten Tomato score, you were leaning towards a fresh rating.
Yeah, I was definitely in a fresh rating.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would give that this last watch.
I think the biggest problems of this movie were also the same problems you had all those years ago, though.
Yes, I agree. Yeah.
And one of the biggest problem I don't have with this movie is the cast. I think the cast
Yeah.
is pretty good in this movie. I think it does a good job of creating distinct characters. We know who all of them are. I think Brittany Snow is the best part of this movie.
She's doing really good work with a script that feels like it was written by AI.
Yeah.
Like
It's
the,
not
the
yeah, it
dialogue
doesn't give
is
her a whole
really
lot
bad.
to do besides that inciting incident of her family dying.
Yeah.
Like that's
Which
pretty much her character.
and that's a pretty intense scene. And like honestly, for this being a PG-13 slasher, the subject matter is pretty icky. Like
Very icky. So
she's 15 in that cold open. Like it cuts 3 years later. Like, this is about a 15-year-old girl who had a high school teacher that was romantically obsessed with her to the point of killing her family. That's dark as shit.
For a
Like,
PG-13,
for a
like,
PG-13 movie.
I think, this movie, it doesn't have nudity, it doesn't have any F-bombs, barely has blood.
Barely,
And
yeah.
again, I don't think it needs the nudity. I don't think it needs the F-bombs. It could have used, as a slasher movie, more blood because the kills in this are pretty laughable. Like right away in the opening. So talk about the
They're all
opening.
kind of the same.
They're
Yeah,
all the
yeah,
same. It's all the same weapon that he uses every single time. It's that
yeah,
weird knife that he has. And everyone just has a little, like, it's like a smudge of blood coming out of their mouth. That's it.
yeah.
And
And
some of
little
them have,
patches
like,
of it
a few
on their
patches,
shirt.
but it's, like,
Yeah,
really dark.
yeah,
It's not, like, red blood. It's, like, very dark patches where they've
yeah.
been stabbed. But, yeah, it's mostly the blood dripping out of their mouth, barely. The opening of this starts off with a really, really bad cover of the time of the season.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah,
It's a
yeah,
really bad cover of that song.
yeah. Um,
What and it opens up in the most like 2000 aughts slasher movie of all time, where it's just this aerial shot over the town, over the bridge, over the river that's by there, over the town, over the people, the townspeople, and it's just the most 2000 opening, which I love. Like, I feel like
and
you
it's
could watch this on TV and be like, this could be one of like 24 different movies, and I don't know what it is until three
right.
minutes into the movie.
Well, and the crazy thing is like the town itself has zero to do with this movie. Like the geography of the town that it's showing you, it's like why? The whole thing either takes place in Donna's house or the hotel that the prom is
Yeah.
at. That's it. You don't even get like them driving or any like you don't get any of that. Like none of the travel
Well,
is
you get, I
portrayed
mean,
on the
you get them
screen.
driving in that montage where they're all in the limo, but it's
Well,
like,
yeah.
it doesn't matter. They're
No,
just
it
going to
doesn't matter.
this
Yeah.
hotel in this town. Like, yeah.
And also, what was the fucking budget of this prom? Because this prom is
Well, she went,
insane. Yeah.
the bitchy girl went $100,000 over budget. So we know it was at least $100,000.
Can you imagine a high school prom with a budget of a hundred thousand
At least
dollars? Like
$100,000.
at least
Probably a
she's
$250,000.
that is so insane to me. That is
I mean,
so
did you see
insane.
that party? I mean,
Yeah,
it was, yeah, it
it's
looked
I
like a
mean,
$100,000 party.
so that's kind of what I love about this movie is even on like rewatch is how over the top it is with prom. Like all of the characters in this movie talk about prom as if it's graduation. Oh, this is going to be the greatest night of your lives. It's what high school's been all about. It's all been leading up to this and it's like I mean, I don't feel like that was the vibe of prom at all when we were in high school.
Okay, I'm going to go off 2 points here. One is one that we brought up when we interviewed Eric Bloomquist when we talked about Founders Day. What makes a
Yeah.
great part of what makes a great slasher is whatever town you set it in during that holiday or an event, that needs to be the biggest thing to those townspeople.
Yeah.
This gets pretty close to having prom as the biggest thing of the year.
Because even Donna's therapist is like, you'll never forget your prom. It's
Yeah.
the best night of your life type of thing. It's like,
Yep.
you're a 30-something-year-old woman. How is prom the best night of your life?
The police won't even like stop the prom because it's prom.
Yeah.
It's the
So,
biggest thing in this town. Whatever this Promville, like that's
yeah,
I assume that's what the town is called.
it's gotta
Promville.
be.
It's got to be the biggest thing in that town. So I'll give the movie a point there. Sam, you made me like Prom Night a little bit more. But also, Sam, how boring was your prom? Was it as boring and lackluster as Prom Night 2008? Because I only went to one of my. So we had, like, obviously you went to prom as a junior and a senior is when you could go to prom,
Yeah,
at least in
yeah,
my school. I
yep,
went my junior year, did the whole thing. We did the dinner, the pictures, went to the dance, and then the after prom. What I don't remember anything about the dinner, whatever, because it's like a formal dinner, whatever. The
You guys have a
dance,
dinner for your prom?
yeah.
Oh, we all just went out to like sports bars before.
Oh no,
All
we had
dressed
like a
up.
legit dinner at the
Oh
school
shit.
and yeah, ceremony type of thing. Yeah.
No, we only did that for like graduation when we were seniors. We had a senior dinner banquet
Oh,
or
we didn't
something.
have that.
Oh, that's weird. Yeah, I don't
Weird.
know. No,
But
prom
our
did
dance
not come with
lasted
a meal.
all of 20 minutes before everyone just left
Yeah.
for 2 hours before the
Okay.
after prom, and the after prom was what everybody wanted to be there for because they had like a hypnotist and games and bouncy house
Yeah.
and all
That
that
stuff I
stuff.
remember. Yeah, and like fake gambling and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because they made it feel like Vegas for a night, essentially. Like they were like, yeah, you've
In your shitty little high
it.
school
Yeah.
gym. Yeah.
Not even. Our after prom
Was
was in
yours
the
in the elementary gym?
fairgrounds.
Oh, in the fairgrounds. Ours was
Yeah.
in our
So like,
elementary school gym.
oh God, that's so funny. Cause we had our like the prom at the high school gym, and then everybody went out to like the fairgrounds on the outskirts of town, and we had it in the big massive 4-H building.
That is the most Iowa thing I've ever
Yep.
heard. Yeah.
So my prom was very different than this prom. Um, yeah, I had fun at both of my proms. I remember one better than the other. I got in a pretty bad car accident about 3 weeks before my senior prom, and I was very high on pain meds in my senior prom. So I remember parts of it really well, and parts of it not at all.
My senior prom, I did not go to actual prom. Me and my friends showed up for the dinner part, did a skit. We did the more
Oh,
cowbell skit
nice,
from SNL, and then
nice.
we left. We literally showed up for maybe 10 minutes to do the skit, and then we just dipped.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Yeah, we had like a pre-prom show, like it was like a talent show. But we didn't have dinner. Like it was weird. Like we had a pre-prom thing and the parents were invited to it,
Yeah,
like
we
to
had
this
that too.
pre-prom show.
Yeah.
And like and I yeah, junior year, we got all decked out. Like I had a couple of buddies. We played a Beatles Here Comes the Sun cover. But we interlaced like pop songs from Lady Gaga and Taylor Swift into it and made like a medley. And we came out in pink tank tops and yellow booty shorts and called ourselves the Flaming Flamingos. And that's what I remember most about.
It's a great band name.
Yeah, I don't know. There might be a YouTube video of it up still.
Someone find it.
But
All right.
yeah,
Well, back to
okay,
prom
yeah,
nights. Not our
prom
prom
night.
nights. Prom
Yeah,
night the movie, because ours was not $100,000 budget prom like
no, and
these kids.
we didn't even get a killer. Like
Yeah, my prom thing was
lame.
just slasher killers too.
Yeah, exactly.
Also, ours wasn't held in a hotel where a bunch of 17 and 8-year-olds could get hotel rooms and
Yeah,
just ditch their prom whenever they wanted.
yeah, it was weird. That's I've heard, like, I know that there are proms where that happens, and that's so insane to me.
Maybe
Like,
a bigger city
it's gotta
thing?
be a
Yeah,
big
it's gotta
city
be then.
thing,
Yeah.
but like, it's crazy to me because like a lot of times when you're 18, most hotels won't even let you get a hotel room until you're already 21. So like, do these proms that are hosting like, 16, 17-year-olds, like, do they have special rules that night or what? Like, it's weird to me. I'm like, also, who trusts a teenager with a hotel room? Seriously.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's nuts. It's
Yeah,
nuts.
yeah, it's nuts, and it's also again where prom is the most important thing to these teenagers. Because like, if I had that option, like me and my friends would just stay in the hotel room.
Yeah.
We'd probably go to
I
the pool
yeah, I was about to say
during
I'd be
prom.
watching HBO on the hotel's dime.
Yeah, exactly. I'd be ordering rooms. Yeah, we'd be ordering pizza from room service and watching
Yeah.
Prom Night 2008. Probably
Yeah, exactly. Uh
shows you how cool we were in high school. So
uh
okay, we talked about the therapist for a second. It's
yeah.
Ming Na Wen.
Yeah.
who was in Agents of
Mulan, Agents
S.H.I.E.L.D.
of
Yeah.
S.H.I.E.L.D. She's a badass. She's
Yeah,
great.
she's a badass. She's in one scene of this movie.
She's in one scene, and
To
it's
be the counselor, to be
purely
like,
for
prom is the most
exposition.
important night of your life.
Yeah. And to be like, that happened 3 years ago. He
Get
was your
over it.
teacher, and he's locked up, and no one can hurt you. She's literally just. She's an exposition dump. She's the crazy Ralph of this, except for she's treating the crazy Ralphs in this. Like, I
She's an
don't know why she's in
exposition
it.
dump before we get another exposition dump when we get to the police station.
Yeah, I was about to say most of the entire movie is an exposition dump.
Yeah.
Because
Like, her scene is really unnecessary.
yeah. So
Like,
much of the setup of this is.
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah,
Like,
most of it is, I guess.
I
I
also
like the cold open. I like the cold
Yeah.
open until it becomes a dream. Like, we don't need it to be a dream. Just
Yeah.
have it jump forward in time.
Yeah, exactly.
But Brittany Snow, she dreams of her parents getting killed right in front of her, including her younger brother, and it's her high school teacher,
Mr. Fenton.
Mr. Fenton, who looks like Charles Manson.
Yeah. He's got the long hair, the beard. He's got a scarf on the first time you see him.
Did they say what he taught at the school?
It's got to be English.
I was going to say, I
He's
would
an
guess
English teacher.
He's an English teacher, yeah.
The way he looks in that cold open, like, yeah, he's an English teacher.
He's an English teacher, and he would only play Beach Boys when the kids would walk into the class. That's the vibe I get from this guy.
Yeah. Which is funny because Jonathan Sheck, also known for That Thing You Do, which is totally a 50s, about a 50s pop band that he fronts. I love that movie. We should find a way to... You've never seen it? We should find a way to cover it on the show. It's not horror at all.
It's not horror at all. No. That is our one time we're talking about that. Yeah, they all end up going to prom with her. It's her and her group of friends. And one of her friends, do you have her name? Did I write her name down? The one that's up for prom queen.
Is it it's got to be, is it Claire? Jessica Stroop? No, that's
the one that gets the big chase sequence in the third act.
Oh yeah, Lisa.
So
Played by
Lisa
Dana Davis.
Yeah. Lisa is up for prom queen with her boyfriend, who's like the stud quarterback of the football team or something like that. They say in the drop line. And she has like this big like Mean Girls rivalry with the blonde mean girl of the school who's dating Kellen Lutz.
Yeah. Who could not give a shit that prom is happening.
No. He should have been one of the main guys.
Best. I was about to say he's one of the best parts of this movie, and he's only in like 2 scenes.
Yeah. Yeah, he does not care about prom. Does not care about prom king and queen. Does not care about his sort of girlfriend, or they've dated before.
Yeah.
Yeah, he should have been one of the boyfriends in this movie.
Yep. Well, like, also, this movie sets up, like, characters that, like, you're definitely not supposed to like, but then doesn't kill them. Like, it does this weird thing that, like, most of the time when you get a slasher movie character that you're like, oh, that person sucks, they're gonna get killed.
They need to die, yeah.
Like, there's this scene early on where these, like, grown-ass, like, 30-something-year-old Wall Street bitches are, like... hitting on these 17-year-old girls
very clearly at their prom.
Yeah, very clearly at their prom. Like, they know these are high school girls, and they're, like, inviting them up to their room and stuff. And, like, this movie then just cuts to them in the hall afterwards laughing about it and going, like, they're so gross. And I'm like, I remember the kills in this movie, and I remember that those three do not get it. And immediately I was like, something's off here. Like, you can't set up characters like that and then not kill them. Like, what was the point of that scene then? Yeah. It's weird and it's gross and it's creepy.
Do they kill off the mean girl? I'm trying to remember if she gets killed off. Okay, she doesn't get killed off either.
Only Here's the people in Donna's friend group and 2, like, poor hotel workers get killed.
And the cop.
And the cop, yeah. James Ransone.
James Ransone. We'll talk about the cops in a minute.
Yeah.
But we got to talk about the killer first, because that's my biggest problem with this movie.
Really?
Is so not necessarily his performance. It's just how he's written and how it all plays out with him.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty dumb.
Yeah, it's very dumb. It is extremely dumb, okay? So he escapes from prison after being in prison for 3 years. Kind of like in a Halloween situation. He escapes, and on the night of prom, makes his way to Promville to kill? Or kidnap?
Or just be with.
Or be with?
Yeah.
Brittany Snow. Again, it's not clear what his motivations are. What we do know is he begins to pick off her friends one by one. Why? Again. Is it so he can be the only, like... So he can be the only one with her? So, like, he's all she has left?
I think that's what it is. It's like the technique of, like, oh, you have no one, you have to come to me. But the movie
But then why doesn't he go to her
that.
house where she's staying first and kill off the aunt and uncle?
Yeah, it doesn't make sense.
It doesn't make sense.
And
again, why isn't he, like... What would make more sense is he's protecting her. Or thinks he's protecting her. Then you can kill off those guys.
Yeah. You can kill off the mean girl.
You can kill off the mean girl. You can maybe kill off one of the friends, like they have a kerfuffle at the prom.
Yeah, but they don't. Like, everything's copacetic between the three girls, and their boyfriends are just, like, non-characters.
Yeah.
I mean, the girls aren't much better, but...
I literally wrote down Donna, Brittany Snow's boyfriend, has 0 riz.
Yeah. Oh, her boyfriend, I don't even remember what he looks like, to be honest with you. I
remember Kellen Lutz in his 2 scenes more than him.
It's because he's, like, actually giving some character. And part of that is, like, his dialogue, I don't know if it's his delivery or if it's just, like, the fact that for whatever reason, the screenwriter was just batting 100 when they were writing those scenes. But, like, his dialogue is some of the only dialogue in this movie that sounds like a real person is speaking.
Yeah.
Because everything else is like, it's our prom. Let's have fun.
Yeah, the dialogue is awful in this movie.
I gotta say,
with him, I think it's just his performance and how he's delivering it. Because he's probably not given a whole lot because he has like 2 lines in the movie.
Yeah, he's
just like, I'm gonna play a guy that doesn't give a shit about prom.
Yeah, yeah.
He's the one guy in this town that doesn't.
Doesn't he even have like a sideways baseball cap on at some point? Or am I just confusing it with the Twilight baseball scene? Like I
he does not have a.
Okay.
Because he's wearing his tux the whole time.
Yeah, that's right. Right. I just think whenever I think Kellen Lutz, like I
you picture the baseball
go to
cap
the Twilight baseball cap. Yeah.
I get it. Let's talk about the police officers and the police force in Promville.
They got Idris Elba to star in this.
Idris Elba, who at this point he's a relatively unknown or not as well known as he is now.
This is pre like him kind of blowing up on like TV and like Luther and stuff like that.
And Luther and Thor.
Yeah.
This is probably about the time of his time on The Office.
Probably right around there. Yeah.
And he plays the main detective who is the guy who put Fenton behind bars.
Yeah.
And he gets word that he gets a phone call, right?
Yeah. That
Fenton has escaped prison 3 days ago. Or something like that.
My God.
And now you tell me now after 3 days.
His American accent is god awful.
Yeah, it's fading in and out.
It's
for sure.
Really bad in this.
Also, just as bad, though, is James Ransone, who plays, like, his number 2, who he doesn't have a whole lot of character in this. I love him. He's so much fun when he shows up in, like, Sinister and It and The Black Phone. He's incredible in those.
I mean, he's doing that shtick in this movie. I think it's just...
It's really dumb.
This movie is a lot worse than any of those movies.
Yeah. Yeah, and they get another exposition dump of who Fenton is and how he's related to Brittany Snow, to Donna Donna is a terrible name for a lead character in
That was my,
2008 for a female lead.
that was one of my first notes, actually, was like, no one I went to high school with was named Donna.
It's an
Donna
old lady
is
name at that
literally
point.
my grandma's name.
Yeah, it's an old lady name. Yeah. Like, wedding, I don't know. Brittany is like the most 2008 name they could have ever came up with. They should have just left it at that. But this police force, they get the exposition dump and they get like the flashbacks to everything that happened and show him escaping from prison and stuff. And again, Fenton, who only changes his one disguise, is that he cuts his hair shorter and shaves off his beard. That's it.
And he puts on a baseball cap.
He puts on a black baseball cap and wears black clothes. No one in this entire place recognizes him at all.
No.
And they're face to face with him many, many times in this. And the police force, this is the most incompetent police force ever. So Idris Elba goes to the aunt and uncle's house of Brittany Snow. And it has one of the funniest scenes in this movie is in this. I had to write it down. It's when the mom figures out that Fenton has escaped. Like, she's listening to the conversation happening outside with Idris Elba and a guy that looks like Phil Hartman. And she realizes Fenton escapes, and she like has this giant plate and just drops it in slow motion and just shatters. Showing how dramatic it is for her.
Oh, this movie is played serious as a heart attack.
Yeah.
It could have used a lot more camp. There's
a ton of unintentional camp in this, though.
Yes. Oh, 100%. Like, I was laughing through this whole movie, and part of my laughter was definitely me imagining you watching this. Because I was about 15 minutes in and I looked over at Maria and I went, oh no. What have I done?
Listen, I had fun watching this movie.
Yeah, I did too. I did have fun watching it.
It's really bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not a good movie at all. You're laughing at the movie more than you are ever with this movie.
Because this movie doesn't want you to laugh at it or with it. It thinks that it's being very effective in its drama.
And it's drama and it's suspense. It has zero suspense.
Like, I think there's one scene that does.
Okay, so some of the kills we got to talk about. He kills off, Fenton kills off one of the maids. Could have just stole her like key, but kills her off for some reason or another.
Why do these hotel workers keep just like walking into rooms while he's still standing out there like holding the door? Like, that's a red flag. Don't do that.
Also, like, do these hotels not have cameras in their hallways?
Yeah, no shit, right?
Like, it's 2008. Like,
yeah,
they would have this at that point. But
yeah,
what's the next kill? He kills off the other friend.
Yeah, he kills off Chrissy. No, not Chrissy. Claire and her boyfriend. Michael?
That scene is so long. When the boyfriend ends up in the hotel room and is like trying to like make up with her or ask for forgiveness. Like, I don't even know what he did. Like, but it goes on for like 5 minutes where he's apologizing to her, and we already know she's dead.
This room is like, it's massive. A 3-bedroom suite. It's an apartment. There are so many closet shots in this movie. And one of the ones that like always stuck with me as a teen watching this is when like when he looks down and like Fenton is just like crouched in the closet
and he hits him.
And he just stands up, and that as a kid, that freaked me the fuck out. Like that shot, just like it, the first time I saw that movie, I remember jumping. Like, I thought that was a great jump scare.
It's good. They sort of set it up because they have people opening the closet, but it's not the same shot. That's the problem.
It's like a reverse shot of that. Yeah,
exactly. And you don't get any suspense from that because the shot is different. So like the shot before when they're setting it up is from inside the closet out, and you see the doors open and the actors there. And they do
Yep.
that twice with the girls.
Yep.
But when you get the payoff, it's the other way around.
Yeah, so it's not visually, it's not really in language with those shots aren't
Yeah.
really in language with each
It would
other.
have been better if you had the two girls facing, like the camera's like over their shoulder facing into the closet and they open it and there's nothing there.
Yeah, yeah,
Or you set
exactly.
that up twice and then the third time is paid off.
Yep.
It's a good payoff, but the setup isn't very good.
Yeah, agreed. Agreed.
Here's a question. So Fenton does not have a mask this entire movie. Like, dislike. For me, I wish he had the ski mask from the first movie.
Oh, really?
I think it works better. Also
I
gives him an actual disguise to wear
Yeah,
when he's walking around his colleagues and former students.
I do, but I don't. And I think I don't know, like I like this. I don't think this movie takes many swings, and I think one of the swings it does is that it just has, like, he is just a fucking, like, guy.
Yeah, crazy person.
Just,
Yeah.
he's just a fucking crazy person. Like, it reminds me a little bit of, like, a Slumber Party Massacre, where, like, that guy, like, the intensity was just, like, he was just a guy that just was after like, these girls. Like, and honestly, I think that's all you really need. Like, I don't know how much of the whole backstory between him and Donna you really need in this movie. Like, the cold open is cool, yes, but like they could have gone the Slumber Party Massacre route, taken out all of that icky, like, he wants to date a 15-year-old stuff.
Could have
And
been one of her classmates. Like, that's
yeah, like, it
probably
could
what
have
it should
literally,
have been.
yeah, right? Like, it, so
And then it gives her boyfriend something to, like, do.
yeah,
If the killer's was her classmate or an ex-boyfriend or something like that.
right.
Makes it less icky for us as an audience and gives the boyfriend something to do of, oh, that's how they could develop some sort of relationship with each other, is she had that trauma to deal with.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So I like the no mask thing. I wish that it's kind of like you said, like, I don't have an issue with the performance. I don't have an issue with the killer per se. I don't particularly like how he's written or how that's handled, if that makes sense. Yeah.
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 Yeah. I don't hate it, but I would like a mask.
That's fair.
I just like a mask in a slasher movie though.
Yeah,
It's
I
cooler.
mean, it is part of the genre. So I get it.
Even if
I
they
just
wore like
yeah.
what's the movie where they have the clear mask? Is it Alice Sweet Alice?
Oh, yeah.
Like something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, that's freaky. Yeah.
Yeah. So then we get to again, I think a pretty decent scene. And Sam, I'm liking this movie more as we talk about it. By the way,
It's because it's fun.
it's a fun movie. Well, I'll save my other thoughts for later.
Okay.
Lisa, who like is all gung ho about winning queen at the prom,
Yeah.
ditches the ceremony where they
Yep.
crown king and queen to go up
Yep.
to the hotel room with her boyfriend
And have PG-13 sex.
and have PG-13 sex, and he's about to propose to her too.
Yeah.
Never paid off or talked about ever again in this movie. Never even set up at all.
You see him on the steps after he realizes she's probably been murdered, and he's holding the ring still, and he's crying, and that's your payoff.
That's the payoff.
As a
She gets a
teenager, I
pretty
thought that was
fun-
pretty deep.
She gets a pretty fun chase sequence in like part of the hotel that like is under construction.
Yeah.
So you have like all this tarp and all the like work lights in it.
Yep. See, I think this is one of the few scenes where this movie kind of comes alive. Like, I think they're doing some cool stuff with, like,
It's an actual
shadows.
like yeah, it's an
It's a
actual
stock
chase
and
scene.
chase.
Yes.
Yeah. And this movie needs more of that. Because I genuinely like this.
Yeah, instead of characters going into the same hotel room and just dying.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
an actual like active chase sequence.
yeah. And it's just it's shot with some style. It's shot like I think this is one of the few PG-13 deaths that work because you get the blood spatter across the clear tarp. And I like that. Like, it's yes,
You could have
we've
gotten
seen
that
it
in an
before.
R-rated movie.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
it feels actually like a little more visceral. It's like, oh, you're seeing bodily fluids in this sequence. So yeah, I like that. I like this. To me is like the centerpiece of the movie. What even like before I started watching it, this was one of those scenes that I remembered. It was like, him popping out of the closet, this scene, and, probably just like a handful of other, like,
It's
just
where the movie
random
peaks.
visuals.
That's for sure.
Yes, I agree with that.
Everything after this is
It's pretty
really
bad.
bad. It's really bad.
The third act of this movie really goes off the rails and not in a good way.
Not in a good way. Yeah, at all. So someone pulls the police pull the fire alarm. They tell
Which is
everyone in the hotel
so dumb.
to get out instead of like capturing this. Like, go to find the girl that you're looking for. What hotel room are you staying in? We're gonna make sure there's a cop up there waiting.
Yeah.
Worst police force ever. Terrible police force.
None of the cop decisions in this movie make sense from even like from any kind of logical standpoint. Nothing that these cops do is what you would do in that situation, and I am not a trained cop.
Yeah, we are not police officers. Let's make that very clear on this podcast. Sam and I are not
We are
law
not
enforcement
cops.
officers. But we would be better cops than the cops in this movie.
Yes.
They don't go up to her hotel room until everybody's outside and they ask where she is.
Yeah. Wouldn't that be the first thing that you would do is go up to the front desk and like you'd get a guest list, right? You would get a guest list, you'd be running down that sheet. Like you would be checking security footage. You would not be standing in the lobby looking through the doors at a prom.
When they talked to the aunt and uncle, they would have been like, who is she staying with? What name is the hotel room under? Okay,
Yeah.
Cool, we got that info. Now when we go to the hotel, we just ask for that info. We put a cop right up outside of that room.
Yeah. It like
all of the killings could have been prevented.
Look, yes. We are picking apart the logic of a slasher, which is but
it's so much of this movie is this, though.
Yeah, and that's the thing. If they want to make it a procedural, they need to at least make that procedural somewhat believable. Like, there's a difference between, like, the suspension of disbelief of, like, it's a dumb slasher, and the suspension of disbelief in, like, well, real people would not make any of these decisions. And you can't go with the bullshit, like, well, they're under duress. I'm like, no, they're a cop. Like, the killer's not after him. He's doing a job, and he's doing it in a way that no actual person doing that job would do it.
This movie reminded me a lot of Trap.
Yes.
But Trap has like a ton of fun with its antagonist getting their way around a venue and police force.
Yeah.
This does not. This just has incompetent police officers.
Yeah. Yeah.
It does not have that fun ability about it. It also has a similar problem with the third acts are not as good as because they leave the place that they've set up the entire movie to be at. And that's the biggest problem that I have with the third act of this movie. Is that they leave the hotel and end up back at Donna's house.
Which is just a very much a less interesting place to set a third act. You get another fake dream sequence in this third act, which I'm not a fan of.
It's awful.
It's really bad.
It does nothing for the movie. At least the first one set, like, again, we could have said they could have just done a time jump, but it at least sets up what her backstory is.
Yeah.
This is like sort of a premonition of what could happen, but it doesn't happen. But
it does, right?
But a lot of it does. Yeah, it's not exactly the same. Yeah.
It's just weird, and it plays as if
she also has this terrible conversation with her boyfriend that goes on for like 5 minutes about what just happened, and I'm like, my guys, the third act we haven't even gotten to the climax of the movie. We don't need this right now. Like, we need to keep the pace going, and it just comes to a complete halt when she gets to that house.
Yeah, it's really bad, and it just, they try and hit you in the feels with, like, the people outside realizing that, like, people had died in the hotel, and then you get back to this, like, and it's all, like, where this is going, because what else is gonna happen? He's gonna break into the home. He's gonna kill the boyfriend. Like, as soon as she goes into that bathroom, like, she's gonna come out to the dead boyfriend. Like, nothing in this third act is surprising. It's very, like, go through the motions. I saw this in another horror movie once, you know?
Also, so Fenton is at large at this point. They have not caught him at the hotel.
Yeah.
Why do they have one guy who's very clearly like a desk pencil pushing police officer hanging out outside?
Yeah.
The
And
one
then,
police officer where you know this guy is going to go. You have
yeah.
one cop there?
Because
Also,
it's him
who?
and then just, like, the one beat cop that they have around the back.
Yeah.
That doesn't even have a name. They literally just say, well, I've got someone posted in the back.
Yeah.
And,
Also,
and the first time we see that character, he's dead.
he's dead. Also, who goes to sleep after someone kills all your friends?
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
so weird. Like, they just act like nothing has happened. They just immediately go to bed. I don't know what happens to her aunt and uncle. I assume they just went to bed, too.
Yeah.
It's very weird.
And the aunt and uncle, like, the aunt, like, Fenton kills her boyfriend. He's hiding in her closet. He grabs her. And, like, Idris Elba is speeding to the house because he knows something's up, because he pulled a fire alarm and let everybody out and then was like, oh, we didn't catch the guy? Because he wasn't even at the freaking doors checking anybody. Like, what did you think was gonna happen? Like, I don't understand. And so he's speeding to the house. And he gets there. And you think, oh, well, he's gonna come in and save the day. And then the aunt screams and draws him to the other side of the house because she saw the dead cop in the backyard. And that's the first time you see the guy that was around the back.
Just named, yeah.
Yeah. Like, and I just, like, I don't know. Like, the third act just genuinely gets frustrating where it's like, what are we doing? Like, in the first two acts, I was laughing. I was kind of like, okay, this is ridiculous. But, like, the third act is just like
bad.
It's just bad. It's not even fun, really, because you've got this creepy old guy literally restraining a girl going like, we're going to be together forever. And I'm like, ew.
Again, what is his motivation?
Yeah, like, what the fuck? Like, oh, it's so, I don't know, like,
the worst part of this third act, though, is how the killer dies.
Oh, yeah.
Idris Elba just shows up and shoots him.
Yeah.
Donna has nothing to do with his demise.
No.
What?
She doesn't do anything.
It's the most basic thing you do with a final girl. They kill the killer in the end.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it
let
goes.
Them kill
That's how
the
you
killer.
make a slasher
like,
movie.
That is like,
and it doesn't even give us that. It's frustrating because I do think she is a good protagonist. I think she's a good final girl. She doesn't get the final girl moment, which is insane for a slasher movie.
Well, like, Idris Elba just goes like, it'll be all right, in his, like, not American accent. And they hug. Like,
and then credits roll over the house.
And like, I forgot that's how it ended. Like, honestly, this third act really just shits the bed. Like, I feel like before the third act, for me, this is like, I'm like, this isn't good, but I'm having at least like 3 stars of fun with it. And then the third act comes and it's just kind of like, oh.
Yeah, it is. It is a bad, capital B-A-D, bad third act.
It's rough. It's rough.
Sam, as we're wrapping up our conversation, almost hour-long conversation on Prom Night 2008, I have a couple pieces of trivia to throw at you here.
Okay.
The movie did open up at #1 at the box office during its opening weekend.
I remember it being a big deal. I didn't see it until it was on DVD, but yeah.
Had a $20 million budget, made $20 million opening weekend. Not anything to be too shy about. I think that's a pretty great opening for this movie, and influenced some other slashers coming up, including 2009's Sorority Row. J.S. Cardone, who was the writer on this movie, he was also a director. He directed Shadow Zone for Full Moon, Also wrote and came up with a story for Puppet Master,
Oh
the
wow.
sequel to Robot Jox, Crash and Burn, and
Okay.
a favorite of yours, The Covenant.
Yeah. That's another bad movie that I love a lot. It's really bad, but I love that movie.
It's pretty bad. Brittany Snow helped select the songs in this movie that are played.
That makes sense. So like aside from that cover you talk about at the
Yeah,
beginning,
the cover's awful, but the
I
rest of the
do like the
soundtrack's pretty good.
soundtrack. Yeah, like the soundtrack is like it's not the typical like top 40 that you would think. Like I mentioned to Maria, I'm like this actually kind of feels like the kind of music I wish would have been played at prom because this was not what was played at prom. But I like that about this movie is that it's like kind of the cool alt rock stuff that
Yeah.
like no like none of the super popular people were listening to.
Like who were some of the big bands on here? There was one or two that
Let's
I at
see.
least recognized.
Trying to
Is it
let's-
Silver? Is it Silver Sun Pickup? Is that what the
Yes,
band's name
Silver
is?
Sun Pickups are on this one. I love that band.
I think they're
Um
coming to Sioux Falls,
they are and
but
I
it's at
think
the
I'm
it's at
it's
the
at the
district.
district. I
Anyway,
kind of want to yeah.
who? There was another bigger band on this soundtrack.
Let me see. I'm looking Silver yeah, Lazy Eye by Silver Sun Pickups, Tokyo Hotel by Your Side. Tokyo Hotel was huge. The Cure is on this 10:15 Saturday night. Mellowdrone? I don't know that band. Covas. Consequence, a lot Covas. Making a Memory by Plain White Tees is in this
Yeah,
movie.
Plain White Tees.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
that was the other one.
So yeah, it was like it wasn't like top 40 stuff. It was kind of like the alt rock stuff that was
Popular at that time. Yeah,
yeah, and
yeah.
I kind of like that. Like that's oh, and Paralyzed by Rock Kills Kid. That song is a fucking banger. I love that song.
Last piece of trivia that I have: the one of the managers of the hotel that Idris Elba talks to is played by Joshua Leonard from the Blair
Yeah,
Witch Project.
from Blair Witch. Yeah, yeah. I love when he pops up in things. Have you watched Soderbergh's Unsane?
No.
He is the antagonist of that
Ooh.
movie. I think you would dig that movie. We should cover it on the podcast sometime.
All right.
It's pretty fucking great. Maria hates it because it's literally about a woman just being gaslit for like 90 minutes. And
Yeah,
it is
I'll
a
have to
rough
watch that
watch.
one.
It's a rough watch,
Yeah.
but it is really good.
Well, Sam, let's get to our final thoughts. We're gonna crown our king and queen here at prom. Sam, how many prom crowns are you giving Prom Night 2008?
I gave it 2 on my Letterboxd review. I'm gonna bump that up to 2.5 because I really like. I don't know. This movie is not good, and I'm not gonna defend it in the way that I will probably defend the next one. But I do have a lot of fun with it. This is one that I could see myself revisiting again in another 10 years when I'm feeling nostalgic again. Um, but it's not like an every year watch. But yeah, 2.5 tiaras out of 5. What about you?
So on my Letterboxd, I gave this 1 star. It was a 1-star movie.
Yeah.
Listen, I'm gonna bump this all the way up to 2 stars.
All right, I'll take it.
I'll take our conversation bumped it up an entire star. Made me
Okay.
realize how much fun I was actually having in those first two-thirds of this movie.
Yeah.
Even though it is really bad, it's
so
also
bad.
it's also pretty fun. That
Yeah.
third act, like I said, awful. It's a terrible third act, but everything before that is pretty fun.
Yeah.
I think it being PG-13 is the least of this movie's problems, actually.
Yeah.
Could it
you know,
have been better as an R-rated movie? Yeah, sure, because it is a slasher movie. You could have had some fun kills. But that's the least of this movie's problems. The biggest problem is the writing of this movie. The script is horrible. Could have
Yep.
used another pass at the script. That's what happens when you have a 60-year-old guy writing for 18-year-olds.
Yeah. Agreed.
So yeah, I'll give Prom Night 2 stars.
Hell
I
yeah.
liked it more than I probably should have, I guess.
Hell yeah. That makes me happy.
It won't make you happy when we talk about the next movie, though.
Oh, I'm convinced. I think I'm gonna convince you that it
All
is.
right, well,
It's a trashter piece. It really is.
we'll talk about it. But first, we got to talk about our newest partners on the podcast in our first ad read here.
Yeah.
We have joined the Full Moon Army, and we want you. We want you to take advantage of our exclusive offer to our listeners of Screams from the Basement. Full Moon Features, best known for their video aisle classic franchises such as Puppet Master, Subspecies, and the Evil Bong series, is offering 10% off every order on fullmoonhorror.com when you use our discount code SCREAMS at checkout. This goes towards all in-stock items, including Blu-rays, DVDs, replicas, action figures, and so much more. Again, visit fullmoonhorror.com and use promo code SCREAMS at checkout to save 10%. Thanks to Full Moon for being partners on the podcast.
Definitely gonna be using that code.
Oh yeah, we're going to use it more than anyone else will.
Probably.
All right,
Ah.
Sam, let's get into it.
Yep. Y'all. This is about to get contentious.
We're bringing out the boxing gloves. The boxing gloves are coming out here.
All right. Casey,
Yeah.
what do you got for Sorority Row?
Sorority Row. Okay, so let's start off with this. The only person I've ever heard talk about this movie is you. And
Seriously?
I know other people generally like have some sort of nostalgia or affinity towards this movie.
Mm-hmm.
But like no one talks about Sorority Row. More people talk about the Prom Night remake than they talk about this movie. Can we agree on
with
that?
I would
Yeah.
agree with that. Yeah.
And it's the negative part of the Prom Night remake. It's that it's the PG-13 slasher.
Yep.
Sorority Row also was a remake of House on Sorority Row, which I have
But
not
the
seen.
screenplay is based on Seven Sisters.
Which I think is the original title for House on Sorority Row.
Oh, is it? Okay.
I think so.
Okay.
I have not seen the original House on Sorority Row. I know the cover of it. It's an incredible cover.
It's a great cover.
It's a great cover. Have you ever seen it?
Yes.
You have.
It's not one of my favorite 80s slashers.
Yeah.
Neither
No one
one
talks
of the
about it, really.
movies that these are based on are my favorite 80s slashers. I think the House on Sorority Row has some good moments. I think overall it's kind of rough. So, take from that what you will.
But this movie, so again, I have not seen the original. I've went into this pretty much blind.
You don't remember the trailers for this
I don't
one?
remember anything about this movie
Fuck,
around the time.
dude.
Yeah.
I remember being inundated with like trailers and shit. Like, I mean, I was going to the movies a lot in 2009.
I didn't start going to the movies until like 2012.
Okay, I mean that makes sense then because like
didn't have
I
a movie theater
remember
in my town.
I saw the trailer for this. I can't even remember what movie I went and saw, but I remember watching the trailer for this in the theater, not knowing what it was, and like the black hooded robe, the fucking tire iron, like the centerpiece of the trailer from what I remember was the psychiatrist sequence with the wine bottle kill and the flying tire iron that gets stuck in the guy's head. And I thought this movie looked fucking great. Like I was like, no fucking way. Like I've got to see this. Unfortunately, I did the math on this. This came out in 2009, which means I was 16. I could get into rated R movies at my local one-screen theater in Humboldt because I knew everybody that worked there, and they knew that I had parents that were not going to care if I went to a rated R movie. And so I could just go in around 15, 16 and go see one that I wanted to, but since it was a one-screen theater, we didn't get a lot of R-rated movies because they played to the family crowd a lot, as one-screen theaters tend to do. So we never got this one, so I had to wait for DVD because I could not get into rated R movies at the multiplex one town over. But I watched this trailer and I thought this looked amazing. So the first chance that I got when it came out on DVD, like I'm pretty sure I went and I rented this and probably like a bunch of other slashers from Family Video and watched like all of them in one weekend, and I put this one on twice.
Was one of the
I
other ones Prom Night?
It probably was. I I remember the first time I watched this movie thinking, this is really, really stupid. But I love it. Like I just there was something about the tone, there was something about just the insane bitchiness of every character in this movie that I was just like, I don't know, I connected. I loved it. And I grew up watching this stuff like Mean Girls. Like Mean Girls was one of my favorite movies in high school. And so to me, this was just like Mean Girls got interrupted by a freak with a tire iron, and I was all there for it. So I love this movie. I know you did not. Casey, what was your experience like watching Sorority Row?
Miserable.
I thought for sure this would be at least a 3 stars for you. Oh my god.
Okay, well, I'm not going to give my rating or anything like that because I want to give it a fair shot of us talking about it.
Yeah.
Because, again, like I said, Prom Night, I would recommend Prom Night. Like, I thought it was fun. I did not have fun watching this movie.
Okay.
I didn't like any of the characters. I thought
Yeah.
the first half, the kills were cool. And then the third act just didn't. The second and third act really didn't do a whole lot for me. I thought the reveal was horrible.
The reveal is horrible, but it's so funny.
The reveal is awful.
So funny though.
Yeah, I just did not have fun watching this movie. Again, it's not boring, but I just didn't have fun with it like I had fun with Prom Night. Okay. And even watching the movie, again, Caleb came in maybe 20 minutes left in this movie. And she sat there and watched the last 20 minutes while we were having supper or whatever. And afterwards, she's like, yeah, I can see why Sam said you were going to hate that one. And I yelled. I was like, that was the one last night. Because I watched Prom Night the night before. This was the one I was supposed to like. And I did not like this movie. But I want to jump into it. I want to jump into it.
Kayla only watching the last 20 minutes is a problem because the last 20 minutes out of context really are horrible. They're pretty bad regardless.
In context, they're pretty horrible, Sam.
Yeah, so look, I think both of these movies have not great endings.
Sam, I hated the first act of this movie. So much. So much of this first act I hated.
Okay, let's get into it.
Before the time jump, I was miserable.
Oh my god, okay.
Oh, I was so miserable.
We have to talk about this because
we're not going to agree on this movie.
Oh
my god.
I love the inciting incident of this movie. And I say that being like, okay, there is some problematic shit right away. Right away. This is a movie that is pushing buttons. It is very much trying to be edgy, and it is trying to get away with that edginess by having it be spoken by MTV-ass looking girls, you know?
Oh, we're going to talk about these girls.
Yeah.
Not MTV. I don't think this show aired on MTV. We'll talk about one of the shows that one of the leads is in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's jump into it. Sorority Row 2009, directed by Stuart Handler, written by Josh Stolberg and Pete Goldfinger. Incredible name. based on the original story, Seven Sisters by Mark Rosman. So 2009 Sorority Row is about sorority sisters who are for life. Even death can't tear them apart. Get it? Because someone dies in this
Yeah.
movie.
Yeah.
After a prank gone wrong, a group of sorority sisters began getting killed off one by a tire iron wielding killer in this 2009 slasher remake. Okay, so I brought up, like I said, not MTV, but our main character that gets killed off right away is what's her name?
Oh, I
Did I
don't
write it down?
remember.
Oh my god, what's her name? Claire? No, not Claire.
No, Megan,
Megan.
Audrina Patridge, and
Adrena
she is
Patridge, who was the main character in the reality TV show The Hills,
yeah, that's right. Oh my
which I
God,
don't know what
yeah.
that aired on. I don't think that was MTV.
She also voiced herself on Family Guy, didn't
She
she?
did in the episode
Yeah,
where Brian dates one of the girls from The Hills.
yeah, yeah,
I remember her in that show.
yeah.
That's the casting. That's the cast that we have in this movie, and that's my. I know you love the cast. I'm not going to try to be too mean. I
I
don't like
love.
anyone in this movie.
Okay,
I
so
think they're all really bad. Okay, I think they're all really bad. I don't think they're very well written, and I can't tell some of them apart.
I disagree with all of that.
Go ahead. This is a
Okay,
debate. This is a debate that's
okay.
going to happen here.
So here's the thing. I do think that all of these characters are unlikable, except for Cassidy, played by Brianna Evigan from my soul franchise, Step Up. She's in Step Up to the Streets, and
She's the
she's
one that
in
does the dance sequence in the rain. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. And she dances to Diary of Jane by Breaking Benjamin in that movie. I was like, my worlds are colliding. Anyways,
She's probably the most likable character, but she doesn't have a character.
no, see, that's the thing, is like she is
She's
probably
just
the
not a
most
bad person.
morally, yeah, like she's the most morally like apt person in this cast of characters, but at the expense of having an actual character herself. Her and her boyfriend are very boring, which makes the third act really funny. Um, but you've got Rumor Willis playing Ellie, and Ellie is nothing but a joke of like just being the hysterical sister. And we'll get to her moment
She
in the
wears
third act that's very unearned.
Sam, she wears glasses. She's the nerdy one.
She's the nerdy one. I do love her scene though with the douchebag boyfriend of Jamie Chung, where he's like trying to hit on her after Jamie Chung breaks up with him, and she just goes like, "If you touch me again, I'll fucking kill you." And she like walks away. Like it's just a weird like out there moment where I'm like, this doesn't feel in line with what we've seen from this character. Anyways,
Okay, so I saw her name in the cast, and I was like, God, why does that name sound so familiar? And I
Bruce
couldn't
Willis's
pinpoint. And I
daughter.
looked through her. I looked through her IMDb. I'm like, I don't know where her in any of these things. Then I was finally watching a review of it, and they're like, Yeah, Bruce Willis and Demi Moore's daughter.
Yeah.
Like, oh, that, yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Yep. And she literally looks like a combination of the two
Of both of them,
Like
yeah.
it's nuts, yeah. You have Jamie Chung as Claire, who she doesn't get a whole lot to do. Leah Pipes as Jessica, the queen bitch. One of my favorite characters.
Oh my God.
Like, no, she's like, she to me is on the level of like Barb in the original Black Christmas. Like,
Oh no.
I
No.
Leah Pipes in this movie is serving up just like the biggest, like, oh my God, she's the biggest bitch. I love it. I love it
I
so
hate
much.
her so much.
You're supposed to,
But
like,
every
no
time-
one's supposed to like her.
No, it was so much where I was like, I don't want you on my screen anymore.
Ah. So what she was giving you go away heat? Is that
She
what it
had
was?
Logan Paul heat, that's for sure. I'm like, I don't want
Okay.
you on my screen.
You know what? Fair. Here's one character that I know we'll agree on. and that is Margot Harshman's Chugs.
Chugs is the best character by far.
Chugs is so funny. Um, really bad date rape joke in the opening aside. The roofie sex joke is really not good. It's like I'm like I don't think that landed in 2009. Like every time I watch this movie and she says that, I'm like, "Oh no." Who
She's
wrote
arguably
that?
one of the only ones that has an actual character. One, she has a distinctive nickname,
Yep. She's
distinctive
also
characteristics.
she's got a different look to
Yep.
everybody. I love her introduction where she's trying to get a freshman boy to go down on her. And he's saying, "You taste like her mouth tastes like vomit," and she's like, "Yeah, well, I chewed a piece of gum, so you're fine." Like, and he's like, "You're kind of grossing me out," and he just like leaves her.
Leaves.
Um, she like, oh, good God, like I don't know. There's just there's something about her performance that's so endearing, even when she's saying like the most heinous things. Um,
She reminds me a lot of PJ Souls.
yes, oh,
Like
for
she
sure.
has that vibe, like the role that
Like
PJ Souls would always play in like Halloween and Carrie and Rock and Roll
kind
High
of
School. Like
like almost tomboyish to a point where like I don't know, like it's the way she interacts with like guys is like indicative of how like guys in these movies typically act around girls,
yeah.
and I like that subversion. Like she's pressuring like her introduction is literally her pressuring a freshman into sex. Like it's not something that you see a lot of times reversed like that, and I don't know, I enjoy when Chugs is on screen. Can we talk about the oneer that this movie opens on?
Yeah. It's
Because
fun.
I
I
think
like
that
it.
this, like, the first shot of the movie is like kind of almost like a Black Christmas, where it's like centering on the house, and you kind of have like this ominous music, and you can kind of hear like music going, but like the house from where we're at looks dark and empty, and then you hear a girl scream, and she runs out, and like it's just a dumb frat boy chasing her, and then it goes into this party where there's a trampoline in the living room and a pillow fight, and there's feathers everywhere, and like this is where you're introduced to all your characters doing their different things, and like it's a really good setup to this movie. I don't know if anything has the flash or panache that this opening does after that, but like this oneer to me is so fucking cool. It's one of my favorite openings to any slasher ever. I love this cold open. I think it's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a bold cold open for this movie for sure. I think it's the highlight of the movie in my opinion. Um yeah, because it shows off all the characters that you're going to end up meeting, shows off the environment that this sorority house has, also
Yeah.
has a bunch of things that don't hold up. Like one of the girls is like circling like where fat is on another girl with a Sharpie.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, that was just the culture in 2009, unfortunately. Like this this movie is a relic of this time for both good and bad.
Yeah. No, I think it's a good cold open for the movie.
Yeah.
Um but then right away the movie starts to lose me, unfortunately.
Uh
Is when they start playing this prank on Chugs's brother.
yeah, on Gary Giggles from Spy Kids.
Is that it?
It's Matt O'Leary. That's how I always know him too. Like every time I see Matt O'Leary, I'm like, it's Gary Giggles. Yeah, so Chugs essentially gave her brother what he thinks are roofies to have roofie to basically to date rape his girlfriend. Um it's a really upsetting scene. And like look, this movie is like dark comedy. This movie is I'm not going to say it's as good as something like Heathers. Have you seen Heathers?
Yeah. It's not
It's
as
not.
good as
It's not as good as
no,
Heather's, and
no.
I'm not saying that like they're the same on quality level, but I do think that like this is trying to mine from a same like kind of pitch black comedy that Heather's was also kind of tapping into.
See, I didn't get a whole lot of the comedy, especially in the first half of this movie, where
Yeah,
all of it just felt really dark. Like, I think
yeah.
there is more comedy in the third act than there is in the first act. More
I
intentional comedy.
yeah, I would maybe agree with that. I would maybe agree with that.
Because it sets up that these sorority sisters basically, like, I was already feeling uneasy when I was like, oh, they set it up like they are all in on this, like making sure their friend gets date raped.
Yeah,
And
and something's a
then the
little
reveal
weird.
happens of, oh, it's going to be a prank on the brother,
Yep.
which, okay, it's kind of fun, but you know where this is going because it's got to
Yeah.
set up into a slasher movie.
Well, they take it too far. Like Megan fakes her death, like she coughs up a bunch of foam. Um, Gary giggles.
He's
He
not giggling
freaks out.
anymore.
No, he's not happy. He enlists the help of the girls, and the girls are like, "Well, we'll drive her to a hospital." And instead, they drive her out to the middle of nowhere towards a mine shaft, and they're like, "We're just gonna have to hide the body and all this stuff." And I'm like, "This is just going like way too like any sane, rational person would not be still doing this." But like Leah Pipes, Jessica, she's like, no, this guy deserves it. He cheats on one theta, he cheats on us all. And I'm like, hmm, this feels like this almost feels like a promise. The movie does not give me any evidence to support this, but I do kind of feel like it's almost like a promising young woman thing where she's like, no, date rapists have to know their place or something. Um, in my mind, that's why she's going as far as she does. Um, like I said, the movie doesn't necessarily support that, but because she's a pretty self-serving character.
Yeah, she's just awful. Like,
But but yeah, they make
even when
a
there's something that could give her a redeeming quality, she remains awful.
yeah yeah. I said it on the Love Witch episode. I love an unrepentant bitch. Like I love a terrible person who's just they're they're gonna revel in their terribleness. Damn the consequences. And Jessica is that. I so like
But
they
she's
make
not the main
reference to
character. She's the antagonist of this movie. She's not a
um
protagonist.
yeah she's coming back for the sequel though.
Oh my god.
I'm so excited. Somehow she's coming back for the sequel, all burned up. Um,
So basically, like, they end up outside of the where the mine shaft is, in the middle of nowhere, and they're like, what are they? They're all going to search, like,
they're searching for rocks to cut her body up into pieces. And they made some reference about like they made some
but she
comment
can't have
about
air in her lungs, so
air
they
in
got
the
to cut up the
lungs.
body or make sure there's no air in her lungs. And
And
so, what does Chugs' brother do? He grabs the tire iron from the car
it stabs her.
and stabs her right in the chest.
And she's clearly not dead because she starts
Gasps.
awake and she starts coughing up blood and everything and then she really is dead. And the sorority sister like oh my god, why am I blanking on the name? Cassidy's like, no, we're calling the cops, like this is not okay. The rest of the sorority sisters wrap Megan's dead body up in her coat and throw her down a well and are essentially like, if you call the cops, we're gonna tell them you did it. And like blackmail her into staying silent. Um
Awful.
Look, here's what I'll say. This is a classic setup to any slasher, right? Like it's the
Yeah,
I know what you
it's
did
I know
last
what you did
summer
last
type.
summer. Yeah.
Yeah, which is also like I know what you did last summer is very much reminiscent of the House on Sorority Row, the original one, because like it's a different premise but the same one essentially. It's like the death of their house mother is the inciting incident in House of Sorority Row. But like this movie one of my problems with I Know What You Did Last Summer is like the kids do something horrible and they genuinely just like kill a guy in cold blood. Like by the end of that inciting incident, like they have willingly and maliciously murdered someone. And then the rest of the movie tries to make them seem more sympathetic than what they are. I'm like, no, they're cold-blooded killers. This movie is just like, no, they're unrepentant, like they're terrible people. They're just terrible people, and you're just gonna have to sit with them for the next 90 minutes while they get killed. And I appreciate that. I don't need my slasher characters, my slasher fodder, to have any kind of like redemption. Like the redemption is they get a blade in them somehow. Like I love that this movie just revels in the meanness. I love it.
The biggest difference for me is that in I Know What You Did Last Summer, they're all willing participants in getting rid of that body.
Yeah.
Here they're not.
Yes.
Here
but,
it's three of the girls gaslight one of them, and one of them just sits off to the side and is a nothing burger. Also, like, why is this the first thing that they go to? Because again, they aren't willing participants in her death. They didn't kill her. That guy did. Like,
yeah.
They could have called, that is, again, they could have called the cops.
Look,
and been
plot-wise,
like,
this
we
is
were
not
throwing
a
a
movie.
prank. Like, it could have been an accident for him. He might not have even served that much time in jail.
Yeah.
Like, it's a prank gone wrong. And
yeah,
that's my biggest problem is that I don't think there's enough there for them to be that malicious right away. And there's no setup for them being that malicious. It just comes out of nowhere of like, all of them are like, no, we're going along with this.
There's no setup for them being malicious. Did we not just talk about how the inciting prank is one of the most awful things?
It's a horrible thing to do. It's a prank, though.
Yeah, but it shows at least some kind of level.
You've never
of
played a prank where
sociopathy.
you pretend that your friend died?
No, never.
Well, you need to have more fun. I've never done it either, but besides the main, what's the main girl's name?
Cassidy.
Jessica. No, Cassidy, the blonde girl.
Oh, yeah, that's Jessica. Yeah.
Jessica. It makes sense for her. She's just a fucking bitch and a horrible human being. Makes sense for her. Doesn't make sense for like, what's her name?
Claire Jamie Chung.
Yeah. For Claire at all. Like, she has nothing to do with this. Chugs, it sort of makes sense if she doesn't want her brother to go to jail, but
yeah,
I don't know. There's ways they could have gotten around this. But to just straight up being like, no, we're gonna blackmail one of our friends, one of our house sisters, by wrapping our other friend who just died in her jacket and throwing her down a well like nothing happened.
Yeah, I love it.
I hated this opening. I hated this this first act. I hated it so much.
Well, then let's move on to 8 months later.
8 months later.
8 months later, they're getting ready to graduate. Jessica's giving a wonderful toast about the bond of sisterhood and how they deeply miss Megan, who is still missing.
Megan is missing, yeah.
Yeah. And Megan's younger sister, Maggie, who looks nothing like Megan. Like, they could not have cast two different looking people. Like,
also a terrible person.
They're both brunettes. Like, that's it. That's the similarity. But Ellie sees Maggie and somehow, like, confuses her for Megan and screams and faints. I love Leah Pipes' line, like, when they're back in the kitchen, like, after they've collected Ellie, and they're like, and she's just like, Jesus, who fucking faints anymore? Like, and yeah, Maggie, the younger sister, not a good person either.
Not a good person. Nothing burger of a character.
Immediately kind of shifty. She's definitely, you can tell, like, she's either going to be the killer or she's one hell of a red herring.
Turns out she's a major red herring.
Yeah, she's a major red herring. She's one of the three final girls of this movie. That final shot's a fucking banger, though. Anyways.
My notes. I'm reading my notes here, and I just... right after she shows up, I just write, Jessica needs to die. And
Is it
then
because of the friend me on Facebook? I'll totally accept.
right before that, I wrote, "What a bunch of cunts."
Yeah. I mean, that's this movie in a nutshell.
It is.
So,
Okay,
Jessica is.
I want to talk. Okay, I want to get to Chugs' scene because they kill
Yes.
her off way too early in this movie. She's
Yeah,
like the
that's like.
first one to go after the time jump.
There are three issues that I have with this movie, and Chug's getting the first death is one of them.
Do they
Um,
set up why she's going to this house?
yes. So she's she's made references to her therapist liking butt stuff. Um, and this guy's clearly sleazy, but like she wants to get pills for the party
Yeah.
that Jessica has told them, like you all have to be here. Like we're not missing the last party of the year. It's going to look suspicious and everyone will know we killed Megan.
Not the fact that you've been telling everyone that we killed Meg.
Yeah.
But yeah,
So,
Chugs goes to her therapist then, who's already like
handcuffed to a bed.
handcuffed to his bed.
And she calls her sisters because he's like, "Oh, I've got some prescription samples for you if you finish what me and the last client started." And so Chugs is like, "Let me freshen up." She goes into the bathroom. She has the really funny line where she's like, "Yeah, Dr. Rosenberg's really making me work for the pills today." And it's like, ugh. It's funny, but it's dark.
Yeah.
It's yeah. Anyways, um while she's freshening up, Dr. Rosenberg, he has one of the funniest lines where he's like handcuffed to the bed and he hears someone down the hall, and his response is just, "Hey, you have to make an appointment."
Well, someone's in his house.
While someone's in his house, and he gets uncuffed, and the minute he gets uncuffed, you get your first look at the killer. He's in a hooded graduation cloak, and he just jackknifes a tire iron right into the guy's head. Fantastic. I love the tire iron. I think the tricked out tire iron is like one of my favorite slasher weapons. It's so cool. I love it. I love that it makes no sense. Like he loses so many of these. Like the killer loses so many of these throughout the course of the movie. Like how many custom bladed
A lot,
tire
apparently.
irons did you get made for this killing spree?
One of them he has in the third act actually has like a string or a rope that he can
Yeah, like
pull it
he's
back
like
with.
pulling it back.
It's like a
Um,
yo-yo tire iron.
yeah. So Chugs comes out and she doesn't see her therapist because he's behind the bed bleeding to death. Well, he's probably already dead, but he's bleeding still. And she goes and she steals a bottle of wine from his cabinet and she's running around. She has another line that maybe hasn't held up super well and maybe wasn't okay even in 2009. And then we get the awesome bottle kill.
The best kill.
And you know that like Christopher Landon was homaging that in the opening to Freaky. Like do you remember the wine bottle kill from Freaky where the bottle gets shoved down the throat and then like Vince Vaughn like punches the throat and all the glass shards come out?
Okay.
That felt like Christopher Landon being like, I can one up that. Like I know he's seen Sorority Row. He had to have. Because the way it's shot is just so very similar.
Yeah, she gets it like shoved down her throat and then hit again.
Yeah.
And then finally slits her throat with a tire iron and blood like comes up the bottle that's in her mouth.
Yeah.
Good
It's
stuff.
so
Good
gnarly.
stuff.
And then Chugs is out of the movie. You get your kind of first lull. You get the scene with Jessica and her boyfriend Kyle's dad, who is making like a vice presidential run or something.
He's a senator.
He's a senator, and like there's a lot of talk of Kyle following in his dad's footsteps and being in the politosphere, and so, you know, it's like, "You're a spirited girl, Jessica," and she goes, "Thank you," and he goes, "I didn't mean that as a compliment." It's like, oh, she's on the other side of the bitch stick right now. And you think maybe that's going to amount to something. It really doesn't, other than just her boyfriend is kind of obsessed with making sure that his image is squeaky clean. Um, And then you
Again,
get
could
the
have given her some form of humanity.
you could have.
It doesn't.
This movie has no interest in that.
It doesn't. No. Also, I think that's a better killer reveal if you do that route.
What, him?
If it's
Her boyfriend?
her boyfriend and like her dad.
Yeah, that could have been cool too.
Be better than what we got.
Love what we got. It's
That
so
guy's
stupid.
So we get like the shower sequence here.
Yes,
And I wrote in my
right.
notes. Okay, can you set up the shower sequence? Because I only wrote one note about this. And it'll make sense why I'm asking you to describe this.
So, essentially, Jamie Chung and Leah Pipes both decide to take a shower at the same time, and they go up to this bathroom that looks like a shower room from a dorm, not a sorority house.
Yeah. It's like a shared space.
Yeah, it's like a shared space. And they kick out an underclassman because it's a senior bathroom. And there's like another girl in a stall, in a shower stall. They don't check any of the shower stalls, but are just openly, after they kick out the underclassmen, are openly talking about killing Megan. Like, full volume. Like, they get ready to leave, and the girl drops a shampoo bottle, and neither one of them do anything to, like Jamie Chung hears it. You see her perk up, and then she just walks out anyways. I'm like, if you're trying to cover up a secret of you guys murdering someone, I'd be checking those shower stalls. Like, what? Okay.
So the girl that eventually gets killed in the shower.
Yeah.
This is the first and only time we see this girl, right?
Yes. It's the only time.
I was very confused. I'm like, who is this?
Just some random girl that was just unlucky enough to hear it in the shower.
Huh. Okay.
Here's my question. Why the fuck was the killer hanging out in the shower to be able to...
Because he's a pervert.
It's so funny. It makes no sense when you actually think about the reveal. Like, wait, why was that guy even in there then?
Okay, jumping ahead to the reveal. It's revealed like there's been two people sort of doing this. Right?
No, just the one.
Because Jessica's boyfriend is like walking around with the hood and the tire iron too.
Yeah, but I think he just didn't want to get caught having sex with Maggie. I think he genuinely just threw on the first thing that was around him.
Okay.
I don't think he had anything to do
So this
with
wasn't him
else.
like being a pervert in the shower.
No.
Okay. So then it makes even less sense in my mind of why our eventual killer is in the shower.
Yeah.
In the locker room, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, it's
with
weird.
Some rando that we've never seen. I didn't like this scene.
He's
moving on.
He's keeping tabs on all of her friends and killing them if they tell anybody because he's protecting her.
Okay, I guess it makes sense. Yeah, he's making sure anyone who knows about Megan's death dies.
Yes.
And because this freshman is in the... Okay, I guess that makes sense. But also, this freshman is only in this scene.
Yeah. Also, Jessica's boyfriend, Kyle, the political candidate one, that's Matt Lanter, the voice of Anakin Skywalker in Clone Wars.
Yep.
Good stuff.
Okay, let's talk about Claire's boyfriend, because he's the worst.
Oh, he is.
We spend way too much time with this guy, too.
He also, look, I love movies where we have, 30-somethings playing teenagers or, college kids. But this guy looks fucking 40. He literally... I'm like... I work at a college. I've never seen anybody that looks as old as this guy.
Oh, no wonder those two girls that were trying to get into the party were creeped out by him.
Right?
Yeah, he looks like their dad.
Yeah. He's the worst. He's a jackass. I love his death.
Because he's like crawling down the
garbage chute.
The garbage chute, and then gets the tire iron through the wall.
Yeah, through the wall, and because at first it's the spiked end, and it gets right above his head, And when the killer realizes he misses, he just like turns the thing and the knife blade goes through the wall right into his throat. Um, them finding him is really funny too, because they recognize him because of his ugly ass shoes. Um, let's see. Other
I'm letting you
kills, other
take this
kills,
because
other
we're
kills.
getting to the part where I like the least, and I already am. I'm struggling with this movie, Sam.
Okay, so
Let's get to a good part. Can we get to a good part at least?
yeah, what part did you like?
Okay. Carrie fucking Fisher.
Oh God, yeah, she's
The
fantastic.
She's incredible in this movie. She plays
Yep.
like the house mother of the sorority. She's super funny. She's energetic. Like whenever she's on the screen, she's delivering.
I run a house with 50 crazy bitches. You don't scare me.
Yeah. Just wielding the shotgun, not caring who she shoots.
Yep.
She sets up like she doesn't want the girls to have a party,
Yep.
and is like, as long as you don't burn the house down, it's fine.
And of course the house gets
And then
burned
they
down.
burn the house down.
Um I love the scene. There's a payoff, and it's a stupid payoff, but I love it anyways. Where she gifts all of the senior girls these like cheap silver bracelets. And like Jessica being the bitch she is immediately like after she leaves the room is like, I'm never wearing this, and tosses it back. And it prompts all of the other ones that just kind of follow her lead to toss them into the thing. And the only one that keeps it is our resident good girl, Cassidy. And it saves her in the end.
And what's her name keeps it too?
Ellie?
The other one that survives.
Yeah, Ellie.
Yeah, Ellie. Yeah.
Yeah, see, our good girls. Our good girls are symbolized by the bracelets.
Symbolism. Sam.
Yeah. So, yes, Carrie Fisher's death kind of stupid because she stands in front of the tire iron and then gets the table shoved and it like pushes her into it. But like the scene leading up to it is really cool.
Could have used more of her in this too. Like, would have been fun to have more of Carrie Fisher in this.
Yeah, I agree. She kind of disappears for the middle part of this movie.
Yeah.
And I wish she didn't. Yeah, let's see.
So, okay, they end up leaving the party, going back to the mine shaft.
Because they get a text. They get a text that's basically like, you have to go to the place where it started, or this video is going to the cops. They almost hit Maggie, who is, for whatever reason, waiting for them in the middle of the road. She says something really bitchy, and Ellie goes, wow, she is going to make a great Theta Pi.
Yeah, it was like, my sister never liked you, or something like that.
Yeah. So they go there, they go down to the thing, and they essentially see like a Theta Pi must die. Like, yeah, and they
see the blanket that she was wrapped up in, but they don't find the body.
Yeah. So they go back to the house. I'm like, you didn't even need to go all the way out to
that was a very
thing.
it was so
such
pointless.
Weird, it's so
because
weird.
they find the jackets at the house.
Yeah, the jackets
That's all you
at
need.
the house. So the thing is like the only reason they go out
Megan's
there,
body is revealed later on in the house too. So it's
that is the funniest scene.
It is so pointless that they go back out to that mine shaft.
So the only point is so that they can come back and everybody's left the party to go to the after party. There's the really funny thing where like they're like, where did everybody go? And Jamie Chung goes like, maybe they're all dead. And Jessica goes, they like, dead bodies don't drive cars, idiot. And the hot tub is going crazy. There's this bubble sequence. Hello, Boris.
Mm-hmm.
There's a whole bubble sequence. What did you think of this scene? Because I actually like the hot tub sequence with the flare gun quite a bit. No? Nothing? Nothing?
I feel like they could have done something better with all the bubbles outside and created more tension, but
yeah, maybe. I don't know. I just like that scene. And I love the Boris, dude.
I did write down a funny note. All I wrote down was Claire gets a flare. I thought that
It's a
was funny.
it's a Claire gun. Um,
And there's like a reference to the original movie during this scene.
is that? Oh, the cane.
The cane, I guess.
Yeah. Yep. Because the cane is the weapon in the other one.
Yeah. Can we get to the reveals? I'm
Yes.
I'm ready
Let's
to
get
get
to
to
the
these
reveals.
reveals.
So they find Megan in the shower, and
I'll let you get
she
this line out.
she looks terrible.
Yeah.
Because she's literally
Because she's
like
dead.
a
Yeah.
rotting corpse, an 8-month-old rotting corpse. Um, Matt Lanter, Kyle, Boris. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
Kyle ends up sleeping with Megan's sister.
Yeah. um, who then pops out and she's like, this is like right before the Carrie Fisher scene because Carrie Fisher comes and like hits Leah Pipes right in the face with a shotgun, then doesn't apologize because she said she's wanted to do that for years. um, uh, the girls have a cat fight about who sleeps with a boyfriend because that's what they're worried about in the moment. And then and then Maggie finds out that they killed Megan, and her reaction to that is less than like fighting over the boyfriend.
Over the guy she slept with as payback.
Yeah.
Also, she's in high school yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Look,
We're not going to say that part out loud.
yeah, this movie is a trashterpiece, okay? I didn't say masterpiece. I said trashterpiece.
And basically Kyle comes out and he's like,
he's kind of crazy. He's like, I thought we agreed to keep this under wraps. And he's like, he's ready to kill them just because he doesn't want any of this getting out.
yeah.
Kyle just kind of snaps. But he's not the killer. Because the killer is revealed when Kyle gets an axe to the back of the head. And it's the valedictorian himself, Cassidy's boyfriend, who put his phone on a Greyhound to his hometown because of Chekhov's pinging device.
Yep.
I'm
sure that worked very well in 2009.
I'm sure.
Extremely accurate tracking.
So, yeah. So Andy, Cassidy's boyfriend, has been killing all of these people, and he's been wanting Cassidy to open up and tell him about it because he said Chugs told him about it earlier in the school year.
No, Ellie did.
Ellie did, that's right. And so he's got a great line where he's like, "Let's go kill Ellie. You always said we should do more things together."
My problem with the boyfriend being revealed as the killer is who is left. It's what the hell is our main person's name?
Cassidy.
Cassidy, Ellie, and then Maggie are still alive. There's the three people left.
Yeah. Second thing.
Yeah.
Second thing, biggest issue I have with this movie, Jessica's death is very anticlimactic and
it is.
not great.
Also should have happened like an hour earlier.
No, she should have been one of the three walking out of the burning house.
Oh, no.
That was my number 3. That was my number 3. No, Jessica has to live to the end.
She should have died an hour earlier. Oh my god.
What?
My biggest problem in this third act is motivations of these killers. Andy goes from, all right, I'm going to kill all her friends and everybody who knows, to I'm going to kill you. That.
I think that boy is just a little sociopath who needs a reason to kill.
Apparently.
I love Andy. I love a twinky little valedictorian that just goes on a killing spree.
He does. Who should kill him in the end, though? Out of all the people we've been talking about.
100% should have been either Cassidy or Maggie. And the person that gets the killing blow is Ellie. out of nowhere. Ellie's been hiding in a closet for the entire third act, and then all of a sudden just shows up with a shotgun and blows him away. But
Yeah,
then,
wrong person killed him.
but then, you get slow-mo 3 girls walking out of a burning house while alt rock's playing in the background, and you're just like, yeah, slay.
Do you want to know what I wrote down in my notes
Sure.
for this?
Yeah.
Song plays while girls walk from fire equals cringe.
No, it's so fucking funny. Are you kidding me?
It is cringe.
No, it's one of the best parts of the movie.
CRINGE, cringe.
Oh, buddy. It's one of the best parts of the movie. The only thing that would make it better is
the best
if
parts
Ellie
of the movie
had died,
are already dead.
If Ellie had died and Jessica had been the third person walking out. It should have been Cassidy, Jessica, Megan walking out in their undies, just like, yeah, we killed a fucking murderer and burned our sorority house down.
And then we get a sequel tease at the end.
Yep, and we're finally gonna get something. Now, like, what, 15 years later? 16 years later? So excited.
Sorority Row. 2009. Sam, a couple pieces of trivia for you quick before we get to our final thoughts. This was going to have a PG-13 rating after the success of Prom Night.
Glad it didn't.
But it did not, obviously. And then the university they go to, Rossman University, is named after the original film's writer and director.
Nice.
Yeah. Want me to go first?
Yeah, you go first. You go first.
I don't like this movie at all. I had a miserable time watching it. I'm not going to lie. This was one of the most miserable movies I think we've watched on this podcast. I didn't have any fun. I like Chugs. I like the opening oneer. I like Carrie Fisher, and I like Chugs' kill. 1 star. Sorority Row.
Damn. Okay. I'll start with what
Sam, even this thing out, man.
I'll start with what I don't like. I don't like that Chugs gets killed so early. I don't like that Ellie gets the killing blow.
Yep.
And I don't like that Jessica isn't one of our 3 survivors.
Okay. We'll agree on 2 out of the 3.
That being said, I fucking love this movie. It is a movie that I find immense joy in every time I watch it. I think the first time I watched it, I didn't realize how funny it was going to be, and it took like a second watch for me to be like, oh my god, this movie's hilarious. Now, not all of the humor has held up. It can be it can be rough at times. That said, this is like a yearly watch for me. I love this movie.
Do it.
I am. I'm going to give it 5 out of 5 tire irons. I love this movie so much. I laughed through the whole thing, and not because I was thinking of you watching it. I laughed because I was genuinely enjoying it. And when I saw your rating on Letterboxd, I was shocked. I was downright shocked. Yeah, I guess this movie isn't for everybody, but it's for me. So I love it. Sorority Row.
We have said this on this podcast before. For the most part, you and I agree on movies.
Yeah.
We just do. But when we disagree.
We disagree.
Boy, do we disagree.
Yeah. Nope.
And this is maybe the prime example of it now. I think so.
We'll have to do a sequel to this and cover the Black
Last
Xmas. Jedi. Oh yeah, that too. Yeah.
Black Christmas. Yeah.
I'll fight you tooth and nail on The Last Jedi.
Sorority Row is the Last Jedi of slasher movies.
That's right.
Both feature Carrie Fisher dying in them.
Oh yeah. Well, no, she should have died in The Last Jedi.
Does she not?
No, she dies in The Rise of
Oh, in The Rise of
Skywalker.
Skywalker, that's right. Yeah. After she does the
The
flying.
Force thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the one part of The Last Jedi that I won't defend. It's pretty bad.
Yeah.
It's pretty bad.
I actually like that scene.
Oh, really? Oh my
Yeah.
god, what the fuck?
Yeah.
We really should do an episode on this.
No, we are not doing that. Sam, let's wrap
yeah.
this thing up. We've been talking for almost 2 hours about these goddamn movies.
Yeah. Oh my god. Do we even want to do Doobie-Doo?
We have to. We didn't do it last time, and we got
Yeah,
a lot
that's
to
true.
talk about.
We do have a lot.
We'll try to be
We'll be
relatively
quick. We'll be quick. Yeah.
I have a lot of stuff, so no, we won't. This is going to be a long one.
This is going to be a long episode. Okay. All right. So that is Sorority Row. Now it is time for our second ad read. We got Turp Boys. Are you looking for that extra buzz while watching the Texas Chainsaw Massacre? How about getting a tire iron to the brain while watching a Stuart Hendler movie? No, didn't work. Melt your mind while watching a David Cronenberg movie. There, fixed it.
Yeah.
Turp Boys Delta 8, 9, and THCA gummies, vapes, chocolates, and more has you covered. This plant-based product is made from the purest organic hemp-based extracts and backed by third-party laboratories. You can visit buyturpboys.com/screamsfromthebasementpod and use promo code screamsfromthebasementpod at checkout to save 10% on your order. Thanks, Turp Boys.
Thanks, Turp Boys. I could have used some Turp Boys while watching these movies, that's for sure.
Yeah, they're fun to watch. They're fun to watch with substances.
Speaking of movies that are fun to watch with substances.
Yeah, Casey, what have you been doing lately?
The first movie that we were told to specifically watch with substances. Yes. Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter, which was our late night at the State one of our late nights at the State last month. This we played on Good Friday at the State Theater. This was so much fun. There was probably you, me, and maybe one other person, maybe one or two other people that had seen Jesus Christ, Vampire Hunter.
Yeah, a few more than we expected, but yeah.
Yeah, a couple. Like, not very many. Sold incredibly well. I think we were close to 90 people, I think, at this movie.
Oh,
and again, for a shot on film movie from 2001 that should have a bigger cult following than it does.
Yeah.
I think it has a decent cult following, but should have a bigger one. I think we converted some people that night.
I was about to say, there's a bigger cult following, especially in Sioux Falls now.
Incredible. It is so much fun to watch.
It's a great movie.
To watch on the big screen. It looks so much better on the State Theater screen than it did on a DVD rip that probably came out in 2001.
Yep. It was a crowd pleaser. People loved it. More people showed up than we expected.
More people showed up for Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter at 10 o'clock at night than people showed up for Charlton Heston's The Ten Commandments twice earlier that day.
And it was 10:30.
10:30. And Ten Commandments was free for members of the State Theater.
Yeah. Yeah. Jesus Christ Vampire Hunter was a
Charlton
hit.
Heston.
It was a ton of fun. It's one of my favorite late nights that we've gotten to host, for sure.
Yeah. And then another, I would say, we're going to count this as a late night, unofficial late night.
It was close enough.
We played the original Toxic Avenger
Yeah.
On the big screen with Melvin the Mop Boy, Mark Torgel there to do a Q&A afterwards. Mark Torgel, what can we say about that guy? Legitimately the coolest guy. Yeah. We hung out with him all weekend for the convention and for the screening. Just the nicest human being. So gracious with us as you know, the two people that brought him to town, and then with all the fans that got to meet him as well. Such an amazing guy. He was so happy to be there. He had a big smile on his face the entire time. And we did a really fun Q&A afterwards. Gave us some awesome behind the scenes on the making of the original movie. Yeah, and the crowd absolutely, again, loved it.
Yep.
It is a movie that offends everyone and no one at the same time. Incredible movie.
Yeah, for sure.
So I watched The Toxic Avenger 4 in prep for Mark coming because I knew he was in that. He came back as Evil Melvin at the end of that movie. So I was like, all right, it's time to finally watch Toxic Avenger 4. Our friend Blake Ginnathan also says like this is one of his favorite cult movies, his favorite Toxic Avenger movie. I can see why. This movie is batshit insane. Again, if you think the first movie offends everyone, wait till you watch this movie. I don't think I can say some of the things they do in this movie that happen on this podcast. Like, I don't feel comfortable saying it.
Yeah, you were
But they're
giving me the
insane.
rundown, and it sounds pretty it sounds pretty nuts.
Yeah. The third act of this movie, the final like 10 minutes of it, my jaw was literally on the ground. I was like, I cannot believe this is what I am watching. Where like an evil Toxie and our main Toxie are fighting, but also baby evil Toxie and baby Toxie are fighting inside of Sarah's pregnant stomach with little baby mops. It's an insane movie.
That
it's
is
a batshit insane movie.
Yeah.
I definitely recommended it, especially if you like trauma stuff. Like, obviously, check that out. And Mark gets to come back as evil Melvin covered in goo.
Nice.
I'm gonna save one of these for last because I know you watched one of these, right?
Yeah. Are you talking the like new release?
Yeah, the new release.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say that for last. Rewatched The Monkey. Osgood Perkins, The Monkey. I didn't have as much fun as I did the first time. The drama elements were dragging a little.
Really?
But I think the comedy and all the gore still really holds up. I still give it 4 stars. It's my number 2 movie of the year now.
Fair.
But yeah, it's still gonna make my top 10 for sure.
Okay. It's still my favorite.
Oh, really? Over the other one we're gonna talk about?
Yes, but it's more of a matter of personal preference. Like,
Fair.
I think the other one's probably a better movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I finally got around to watching Frankie Frico, Stephen Kostanski's follow-up to Psycho Goreman. It's on Shudder right now.
Yeah.
I didn't like it as much as I thought I was going to. I'll be honest. I liked it, but the pacing is off. It's really slow. And if you thought like Psycho Goreman had a low budget, and we talked about that in our episode, oh boy, does this have a low budget.
Okay.
All of it went to those puppets that are in this movie.
Okay.
So it's like about this loser guy who is just a goody two-shoe, does everything right, can't even have good sex with his wife. Like, he's the most boring at it, but his wife still loves him for everything else. But he is just the most boring person, and he sees like this. It's almost like a sex line, but it's for Frankie Frico, this puppet who will come to your house and show you a good time and have a party. And so he calls the line one night, and all these puppets show up and have a good time with him.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited to watch this. I love.
It's still fun. I would recommend it. It's just not. It's not Psycho Goreman levels of fun.
Yeah. I like puppet movies. I like little doll movies. So like that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. This feels like this could have been a like 1999 Full Moon movie. 100%.
Okay. I'm in.
Rewatched The Taking of Deborah Logan. Incredible movie. One of the
freakiest.
Yeah. One of the freakiest movies. One of the most underrated found footage movies. Yeah. This movie. It rules.
Yep.
That shot. Everybody knows that shot from the third act of Taking of Deborah Logan.
Mm-hmm. Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Good stuff. Watched. This one's a comedy. Can fall into the sci-fi comedy for sure.
I'm glad you brought it up because I saw you had watched it on Letterboxd.
Yeah, it was one I missed. I don't know why or how. Like, this came out in 2011.
Yeah.
Stars Simon Pegg, Nick Frost.
It's so fucking good.
And Seth Rogen as an alien named Paul.
Yeah.
I don't know how I missed this movie when it came out. Like, this is when I was watching all the Seth Rogen stuff.
I'm shocked that you hadn't seen this before.
And everyone is someone in this movie. It is insane, the cast that this movie has.
Stacked.
Like, I didn't know Kristen Wiig was in it. I didn't know Bill Hader was in it. Like, I didn't know these people were in this movie.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Stacked cast. Really funny. I hope if aliens are real, they all are just stoner Seth Rogens.
Yeah. I haven't watched this movie in a long ass time, but I loved it. There was a time in my life where I was watching this almost like weekly.
I can see why. Yeah, if I had watched it back then, yeah.
Yeah. It's pretty fantastic.
I want to see Simon Pegg and Nick Frost do more stuff together because I think this is the only thing they
Yeah,
at
it's
least starred in together outside of Edgar Wright movies.
yeah, outside of the Cornetto trilogy.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
It's kind of
Yeah.
crazy because I think they could pull off that like Abbott and Costello and just do
Oh, for
so many
sure.
adventures together.
I'd love to see them. I'd love to see them start teaming up a few more. Like, even if it's just once every couple of years, it'd be so
Yeah.
fun to see them together again.
Mm-hmm. I watched The Last Drive-Ins,
Nice.
Valpurgis Knot, halfway to Halloween event. The first movie, I fell asleep during the second one. The second one was Ringu, which I've
Was
seen.
it really?
It was Ringu. Yeah, it was. That movie's incredible. It's
Oh my
terrifying.
God. I still haven't seen the original, so I need to.
It's
Um,
terrifying.
yeah.
Terrifying.
I've seen the cold open to it a bunch and freaky as shit. Freaky as
Yeah.
shit. Yeah.
But the first movie he played was City of the Dead, starring Christopher Lee. Obviously about witches. I did not realize how influential this movie is.
I've never seen it.
Never seen. It's incredible.
Okay.
Beautiful black and white film.
Okay.
Um, Set in this small town where basically witches have taken over. So much fog. Maybe some of the best use of fog in any movie. Like huge. This has to be a huge inspiration for John Carpenter on how
Okay.
much they use the fog in this, because the fog almost becomes a character in it. There's that much of it in this movie. Also, do you know the song "Witching Hour" from In This Moment?
Yes.
There are so many direct lines from this movie in that.
Oh, really?
Like the opening narration of that song is from City of the Dead.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah. And I think Rob Zombie has a couple songs that reference this movie too.
Yeah, that wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Incredible movie. If you love black and white horror movies, if you love like witchy vibes, perfect movie for that. I would highly recommend watching this during some sort of Halloween celebration.
Nice. I do want to watch this on Restream. I was out of town when it aired, and so I was not able to tune in live, but I've been trying to at least watch I've been trying to at least watch them on Restream if I miss them. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Should we save our crossover for
We can get to
when
it
we get to
now
you?
if you
Yeah.
want to talk about it now.
Because
Yeah.
that's all I got left.
Okay. Yeah, let's do it. Let's talk Sinners.
Sinners. My
Yeah.
favorite movie of the year, Sinners.
It's so fucking good.
Yeah, this movie is incredible. Ryan
It's
Coogler's first original movie, which thinking back, like I love Coogler movies. I love Fruitvale
mhm.
Station, Creed. I like Black Panther, but I think he's incredible as a director.
Oh,
Michael B.
yeah.
Jordan in all of those movies is incredible.
Mhm.
And to realize like this is his first original movie is insane because he's such a prolific director.
Mhm.
Two Michael B. Jordans is better than one because he's
Yep.
one of the best actors working today.
I agree. I think he's fantastic. I think Haley Steinfeld is a revelation in this movie. And oh my God, I have to look it up. The kid in this movie.
Oh
Um,
yeah, the lead, the lead, yeah.
yeah. Well, I'm looking up his name now because he is just like not just acting, but like his singing.
His singing, his on-screen presence, he's got it in this movie. But yeah, how much can we say about Sinners?
I mean, it's been spoiled that
That it's a vampire movie.
it's a vampire movie.
Okay.
The thing is if you're going into this expecting vampires wall to wall, you're not going to get it until the last act of this movie. Um, and I don't think this is a slow burn because this movie moves at such a quick pace, but like it's telling a story that just gets interrupted by vampires. Um, and it's
I
doing
s-
so with historical accuracy. It's well researched, but it's also just like so it's beautiful. The
you
centerpiece of the movie being the what um you talked about this before I even watched it. The scene where like you're basically seeing a
Like
history.
the history of music
Yeah, and like
in
black
culture, like
music
in cultures,
specifically.
yeah.
Yeah, like
But over across multiple cultures, yeah.
yeah, like because you have a little bit of like traditional Asian music and things like that that gets thrown into the mix. Um, like Remick, the head vampire. What fuck, dude? Like
Top tier horror villain.
yeah, 100%. And I'm still trying to find where the hell is Sammy on this cast list?
He should be like the
Oh,
first person that
he's the
pops up.
first one. Miles Caton. Miles Caton is it plays Sammy, the preacher boy. Um Good
Yeah,
God,
this
what a
felt like
revelation.
I was
What a
back in
revelation.
like I was back in like middle school, high school reading classic literature.
Mm-hmm.
Like that's what this movie felt like.
Yeah.
And
And
like I describe it as what if Spike Lee made From Dusk Till Dawn?
yeah. And even that's kind of reductive to what
Yeah,
this
and
movie
that's
really
like bare
is.
bones of saying what this
Yeah.
is. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's just it's one of those movies that I watched and I haven't stopped thinking about since I watched. I've been listening to the soundtrack at work and the score, like the score to this movie is
Incredible.
fucking incredible. Like I there are messy elements to it. You know, like I don't know if the whole thing is like perfect, but I don't think it needs to be. Like it is such a deeply personal movie that like it feels like something that needed to come out of Coogler rather than just something he wanted to tell. Like it felt like it was a necessity for him to get this movie out. And I think especially in like the studio system, that is so fucking rare. This movie, like it started a bidding war. He got like 90 million for a budget for this. And every cent of that is on screen. Like it's immaculate. It is one of the best crafted movies that I've ever seen. I can't
It's
sing the
doing
praises of
incredible at the
Sinners
box
enough.
office. I mean, it
Yeah,
is.
a fucking 5% drop between weekend 1 and 2. That's unheard of in any genre, let alone horror. Like what the fuck?
An
Audiences
R-rated,
are
yeah, an
turning
R-rated horror movie.
yeah, an R-rated historical drama musical horror movie. Like this movie's weird. It's so crazy cuz like it's not what you think of when you think like four quadrant tent pole type of thing. But it's a
But it
crowd
is.
pleaser. When like everybody in my theater, I went to this Sunday night in its third weekend and our theater was packed and people were like everybody. It was like demographics all over the place in my theater and everybody was so into this movie and what it was doing.
And
Like
I know we've had movies for. We could go into a whole big disc. I want to do a Sinners episode. I want to watch it again. But
yeah, when it hits like streaming or something, we should pair it with I mean maybe we do it with From Dusk Till Dawn or something and
yeah.
we, you know, but yeah.
But yeah, this feels like a movie we just don't get very often anymore, if at all.
Yeah.
I know like Oppenheimer and Barbie were like a big thing those years, but I don't feel like they captured the zeitgeist like Sinners has.
Yeah.
I
No.
think they capture a very specific audience and made a lot of money doing that. Where I think Sinners grabs onto that like Shawshank Redemption, Saving Private Ryan, like those type of movies that
There's a prestige to it.
prestige to it, something everybody is talking about, something that would have been big before the internet.
Yes.
Barbie wouldn't have
Agreed.
been big before the internet.
No,
Or
I
Oppenheimer.
agree
Or Oppenheimer.
100%. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And we just don't get those movies anymore.
No. Like
And
this
this feels
is
like one of those. And it feels like something special. I feel like come award season, we're going to be talking about this movie again. Thank God, because like
Yeah.
maybe we're going to continue this trend that The Substance had a big award season. I think Sinners is going to have a big award season too.
And I think that Sinners is the rare horror movie that could come award season next year be like winning big. Like I could see this sweeping
I could see it getting
entire
nominated for Best Picture.
100% best picture. It could get performance nominations. Definitely
Score.
cinematography, definitely score, definitely screenplay. This screenplay's so fucking tight. Nothing is in this movie for no reason. Everything has a purpose. And I don't want to spoil it, but like even beyond the vampires, this movie then goes on to show that like there are vampires in the day too that just walk among us. And like it's so fucking powerful. Like
Yeah,
I
that are
was
worse
just
than the
than
blood
the
sucking
literal
vampires.
vampires. Yeah, like Jesus Christ, the ending of this movie hits like a ton of bricks.
And it's a
And
crowd pleaser too.
it is. It's just so good. Like I don't
Yeah.
yeah. It you're right. It's probably my favorite movie of the year. It probably should just move up to my number one spot. I loved Sinners. Yeah.
Yeah.
Can't wait. Can't wait to watch it again. It's gonna be on my shelf. Like it is an instant. Like I need this in my collection.
Yeah.
I hope we get like a Blu-ray just full of fucking special features, like commentaries, behind the scenes, deleted scenes. Like if there even is any, it's such a fucking tight movie for a 2 hour and 20 minute movie. It's like The Substance. It flies by.
Mm-hmm.
It just flies by. Oh, love it.
All right,
Absolutely love
Sam,
it.
what else have you been doing?
Um, I watched Lee Winnell's Wolfman because it finally hit streaming. I didn't love this movie. I think it's definitely a step down from his previous ones. I also didn't dislike it quite as much as a lot of people did. I thought that there was a lot to enjoy about it. Um, I think it's biting off a little bit more than it can chew in like a one night narrative that it places itself in. But I do like that it takes that swing of like a werewolf movie that's just set in one night. I think it's bookended by pretty strong sequences, and I actually think the ending hits emotionally a little bit. Um, I don't know. I'm kind of in the middle of the internet on this one because I know there have been people that are like, "Oh, this is one of the, like not very many, but there are people that are like, this is one of the best werewolf movies I've seen in a while," and there are a lot of people that are like, "This is like really bad." And I know you're kind of in that camp. And I'm kind of right there in the middle of it where I'm like, I didn't think this was great. I didn't think it was garbage. I thought it was like a solid. I mean, it kind of felt like a Blumhouse movie, to be honest with you. Like it felt like a Blumhouse movie more than a Lee Winnell movie to me. Um, but it also had enough to where like I'd still recommend it. I rewatched The Shallows. Hadn't watched this one in a few years. I love this movie. I love shark movies, but this one is genuinely pretty darn good, especially when it gets to the shark stuff. The setup is a little rough. Blake Lively is not the strongest actress when it comes to the dramatic stuff in this movie, particularly. But excuse me. Um, but when the shark stuff hits, it hits, and I don't know. I love it. I also think the way the shark is dispatched in this movie is one of the best ways that any shark has been dispatched in a movie before. So yeah, The Shallows. If you haven't seen it, definitely recommend it. I crossed a John Carpenter movie off my watch list. His made-for-TV movie from 1978, the one he did right before Halloween, called "Someone's Watching Me." Uh, Laurie Hutton, the vampire from Once Bitten, which we covered on this show,
Mhm.
is the final girl in this. She's a TV producer, moves to the city. She she finds out that she's being watched by someone across the street from her. Very very rear window, very, like I mean, the type. Very The Watcher. Like I could totally see Chloe Okono having watched this movie before The Watcher because like they share a lot of similarities, like women not being believed, women being watched and stalked from across the street. Um, it's really good. Adrienne Barbeau is like her sassy lesbian friend, um, and just lights up the screen every time she's in it. Like the male lead in it is like a nothing burger. I'm like, this should have literally just been about Laurie Hutton and Adrienne Barbeau being like friends in the city. Like, but I love this. It doesn't have a Carpenter score to it, but it still feels very Carpenter. So if you can, I totally recommend checking out Someone's Watching Me. It's a solid little flick in John Carpenter's oeuvre. I dug it a lot. I rewatched Phantom of the Mall, Eric's Revenge. I talk about this one a lot, so I won't say anything other than this movie's fucking hilarious, and we need to play it as a late night sometime at the state because I think it'd bring the house down as a late night. It's so fucking stupid and funny. Um, and then one of the last movies that I watched, well, the last movie I watched, The Last Stop in Yuma County. Um, this is one of the two movies, Infested being the other one, where the director of this one, Francis Gillespie, has an Evil Dead movie coming because of this movie. It's an odd choice because this is very much just a potboiler, like strangers being trapped in one building together and tensions boil over type of movie. It's a little Tarantino-y. I think just any movie that has kind of a neo-western strangers coming together and bloody shootouts ensue. I think everybody just kind of automatically kind of associates that with Tarantino. Jim Cummings is the lead in this movie, and he's fantastic in this. Jocelyn Donahue plays a large role in this, and like this cast is stacked from top to bottom. You got like Richard Brake and a couple of fun cameos at the end that I won't spoil, but like, goddamn, this movie does not go in the directions you expect. Um, and not in an overly pretentious way, like in Strange Darling. Gonna throw that movie under the bus again. I loved The Last Stop in Yuma County. I think it would pair well with um, Bad Times at the El Royale, which is another one of those like strangers stuck in a place in one night, one day kind of thing together. Um, so if you like those kinds of movies, Last Stop in Yuma County is streaming on Showtime right now. So if you have the Paramount Plus extension or whatever, you can check it out, and I really recommend it. It's pretty fantastic. It's well acted. It's fun. It's got a lot of tension. The ending is pretty emotional, actually, like way more than I was expecting. But it threads the needle between like a good time and a kind of emotional experience really well, I thought. So yeah, out of all of those, if you're gonna watch any of those from my recent watches, Sinners for sure, Last Stop in Union County, and Someone's Watching Me. Those are my big recs for this episode. Those are fantastic. And Sorority Row, but you heard me talk about that for an hour, so.
Yeah, I need to watch Last Stop in Yuma County. I will try to watch that now that it's streaming.
I think you dig it. I really do. It's
Yeah,
a good
it was
movie.
one that I was really excited to watch because, yeah, the news came out like the day after the movie came out. The director, was going to do an Evil Dead movie, and I love the cast. Like, those are like three of my favorite indie actors are in it: Richard Brake, Jim Cummings, and Jocelyn Donahue. So
Yeah. There's
yeah.
there's another one that'll pop up towards the end that I didn't know they were in it, and I was very pleasantly surprised. Also, Barbara Crampton's
Oh,
got a
I was
small
like, is
role
it
in it.
Barbara Crampton? Like, she's
No,
talked
no,
about her a lot.
she's in the trailer and everything. But yeah, Barbara Crampton's not in it a ton, but she's in it more than I thought she was gonna be, and she's a lot of fun. She's a great presence in this movie. So yeah,
All right, Sam. This is this episode. It's dragging on like my prom did. So let's wrap this thing up.
Yeah, let's do it.
Sam, where can people find us online?
All right, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. Just search "Screams from the Basement." Our handles are all a little different, but we're there if you search for us. You can also subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or YouTube. Subscribe, leave a comment, give us a 5-star rating. Just do little things to help us out and help us reach more people. We love talking horror with everybody and want our little horror community to keep growing. Casey, how else can they support the show?
Well, the best way they can help support us, besides doing all of those things, if they want to help support us monetarily, they can help us on Patreon. You can go to patreon.com/screams from the basement. You can sign up for a $1 tier where you get our exclusive artwork and you get our monthly newsletter, or you can sign up for our $5 tier. You get weekly vlogs, written reviews, including Sam's inebriated prom night review that's up now. And you get a monthly bonus episode. Last month, we recorded and talked for an hour about the Screams by Night halfway to Halloween Con, broke down every single detail we possibly could about that, from where our idea came from, how we booked guests, how the day went, all the stuff that we bought there. Just a very comprehensive breakdown of the entire event up on our Patreon now, just for $1. Just for this month. But going forward, we have a pretty fun idea planned for this month of May.
Yeah, it's going to be cool.
It's going to be a fun one. So you could say it's going to be Brat.
You could, but should you?
Or you could say our Patreon's becoming the Pink Pony Club.
Yeah, there we go. That's better.
Yeah. All right. You could say we're going to have a party in the USA in our Patreon. Yeah?
Yeah. I think that's enough to tease them with.
Okay, that's enough tease.
Yeah, that's enough teasing.
You can also help support the show by checking out our merch on tpublic.com. Just again, search Screams from the Basement or follow the link in the episode description. We have 2 new shirts up now on our Patreon store, including our Screams from the Basement Creature from the Black Lagoon inspired t-shirt and our heavy metal inspired Screams from the Basement logo tee. So check out both of those new designs up on our TeePublic right now. But Sam, that is it. That is the podcast. What do we have to preview going forward for the rest of the month? What should we leave the Scream Demons with?
You know what? Let me pull up our messenger. I have a thing that we can read.
You have a thing?
I have a thing that we can read.
Okay.
Our next episode, we have 2 interviews. One with cosplayer Lauren Alina, that will be dropping next Friday, and then one with actress Melody Kay that will be dropping at the end of the month, talking about Round the Decay, which we've already spoken to director Adam Newman about, but we're going to come at it from the actor's point of view.
Also, she was in Camp Nowhere for all you other 90s kids.
Hell yeah. And Neverending Story 3 for all you Neverending Story fanatics. But our next episode, our next double feature, is kind of a cool episode. We are doing Final Destination 1 and 1 and 5. Yeah,
yes.
1 and 5.
Yes.
We're doing Final Destination 1 and 5 in celebration of the new Final Destination that is coming out, Final Destination Bloodlines. And also, it's kind of a fun little cross-promotion with our brethren at the PFPN. So, on May 16th, the new Final Destination movie hits theaters. In celebration of the return of this franchise, we are teaming up with other shows on the network to cover the entire series throughout the rest of May. It will all start on the 14th, with Brett and Tony with Ash and Abe, as they will be discussing Final Destination 2. The next week on the 23rd, Screams from the Basement, that's us, we'll cover parts 1 and 5. Then on the 30th, Attack of the Killer podcast is going to cover parts 3 and 4. And then finally, on June 1st, The Wrong Podcast Died will be covering the new film with special guests Attack of the Killer podcasts. You are not going to want to miss this first ever epic Prescribed Films Podcast Network event as we cover the Final Destination films throughout the rest of May. You can check out all of these shows and our coverage at thepfpn.com. We're pretty pumped for this. When Mike Saunders of Attack of the Killer Pod messaged us about this, we were immediately in. We were like, yeah. I mean, I even told him, I'm like, if the answer to anyone saying, do you want to watch and cover a Friday the 13th movie for me is yes. Like that's
a Final Destination movie.
Or a Final Destination. What did I say?
Or a Friday the 13th.
Oh yeah, or Friday the 13th. Hopefully we'll get another one of those and we can do something.
And he also gave us first dibs.
Yeah, he did. And Casey picked 1 and 5 for some reason, even though 3 is the best one. So
what else were we gonna do with 3 though?
Yeah, I know. That's
1
fair.
and 5 go together the most.
Yeah, it's true.
If we're talking double features, that's how you double feature. If we're talking double
features, that's the one that you have to do.
Yeah. We're super excited to be with our PFPN brethren and our fathers over at the Attack of the Killer podcast. This is going to be a fun month-long series, so go check out all of those podcasts. We'll put a link in the episode description to all of those as well. But Sam, let's wrap this thing up. We're 2.5 hours into this. We're twice the length of both of these movies, probably. Sam, why don't you go ahead and give us that sign-off?
Thanks for tuning in, everybody, and sweet screams.
You're listening to the Prescribed Films Podcast Network, home to hundreds of hours of free podcast entertainment. The shows on this network all have a common goal, providing you with the best discussions about movies and other forms of entertainment media. The PFPN hopes to fill your earholes with audio joy. Visit our website with links to all the other amazing shows at www.thepfpn.com. Thanks for listening.